Nation race, the Great Eight, the Elite Eight, is about to become the Final Four. I'm Mean Gene Money. I've got Zach Panzarella here.
This thing's a full reset, right? Playoffs mean you get through elimination and then you magically just find yourself back where you were at the very beginning of that playoff run. So final 8 drivers.
All you need to know is that we're holding on. Even if we fall, we will rise up and we follow the path that we believe in. No, we're not gonna stop until we reach it. All you need to know is that we're holding on. We rise up from the dust.
Oh, I heard. Oh! Iverson with a massive hit.
Volpus got into the back of it.
And around goes Volpus. Around goes Volpus. Oh, Owens into him.
Oh, there's a lot of drivers involved. Mata, Cook, and one last time. And there it is.
Yes, sir.
David Cook is your winner, chicken dinner.
The track, letting these guys race it out. 2 to go. If we get to the white flag, the next flag will end the race. This is unbelievably intense.
It's insane. Tony Iverson and back there still doing Tony Iverson Atlanta things. Look at Parham. He's trying to stay with his teammate, but that inside.
There goes Fritz.
Fritz with the move.
Fritz to the Parham. And Parham gets it. Unbelievable. Parham can help him. He gets turned. Will he get to the caution is out. Iverson's race is over. Mata's race is over. Iverson and Mata will not be restarting, which means they won't be finishing the race, which means they'll be essentially in must-wins.
This can David Owens hold off.
Oh.
The 28 cuts down hard. Marrow. He wants the win. He makes
hard side draft.
David Owens still in the lead. Owens trying to get help from
Jackson's gonna go for it here, and he sends him around. It looks like it's gonna be Duvall. Jax Duvall is gonna be racing for a championship. Duvall gets it done. Oh, right away they get together. Walton and Iverson are together. Big wreck, big wreck. Needs to have the chance at Bollinger. Here goes Cook. Cook is loose. Mata to the inside.
Here we go. He's got Austin Dillon it right here. This is it.
He does. This is his only chance. The 53 of Bollinger. Will he do it? Will Mata make the move? He doesn't. He's not close enough. Bollinger is going to come over part-time and get the win, and Mata spins on exit. Around he goes, across the checker flag into Cook.
Finish this season with 4 deserving drivers racing for a super coveted championship that will, I mean, it means so much at this point. It is finalized. It's going to be David Cook, David Owens, Jax Duvall, and Buddy Soley racing for a championship next week.
Wait to see you next time, and as always, bottoms up and hammer down. Well, I don't know. If that doesn't get your blood boiling, then nothing is. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Monday Night Mayhem. That's right. We have raced all season to come down to this championship race of our MRL Cup Series finale. We're live here at Michigan as these 4 gladiators are going to square off in the Coliseum known as Michigan International Speedway. Mean Gene Money. I got Zach Panzarella here. Hell of an editing job there. Zach brought us all those highlights. You saw the moment Jax Duvall punched his ticket in Atlanta. You saw the moment Iverson got spun out and lost his way in just last week. And now these final 4 men in the 4 corners of this boxing arena. Zach, how's your adrenaline level looking tonight?
Oh my gosh, I feel like it's honestly probably close to as high as these guys' is. I'm so pumped to be here. That video, thank you for the credit there, but I envisioned that making that video. I'm not much of a video editor, as you guys could see, but I just had that vision just because of all the drama that I could think of that led up to this, all the moments that led up to this, to these final 4, and it just making that video, Mean Gene, it all just came together exactly like I knew it would. Because, oh my gosh, the drama has been insane. And like you said, we saw the Jax Duvall make that crazy move to get the win. We saw how close guys like Fritz were. We saw how bad things went for dominating drivers like Tony Iverson and not be here racing for a championship. Oh my gosh, and it comes down to this. I could not be more pumped, Mean Gene.
Yeah, this is insane, ladies and gentlemen. This is iRacing at its finest. I'm going to encourage you right now, look down on your monitor, hit that keyboard, hit like, hit subscribe, tell your friends. This might be the end of this season, but there's gonna be another one. I mean, just last week, look at the racing that we had there. Tony Iverson squares off with Buddy Sully and David Owens. Two of those guys come into the championship, one not. And then all of a sudden, Michael Mata threw his name into the ring. But unfortunately for him, Colin Bollinger, the champion from the Wednesday Night Xfinity Series, shows up and he drags a $20 bill with a fishing wire attached to it around the track, teasing Mata, getting the win. And that sealed Mata's fate. Iverson also caught up in some early and late foolishness, costing him track position, and that settled it for these four warriors. And Zach, I just don't know. I got a prediction, but at this point, I would not be surprised if any of these four guys was the fella to win here at Michigan.
No, me either. And yeah, Colin Bollinger coming in last week and playing spoiler to everyone with championship hopes. Michael Mata especially, with all the bad luck, like the disconnect at Darlington and the bad luck he had at Atlanta, he needed that win. Second place wasn't even close to enough. And man, he came just a few feet short, as we saw in that video. So many late restarts, such a hard decision for Michael Mata when to make his move last week, and it just never really came to fruition for him. But man, it just goes to show how difficult it is to make the championship race in a league like this, where a guy like Colin Bollinger, our Wednesday night Xfinity champion, can come over at any moment, not caring that it's the championship cutoff race, and just play spoiler and take away anyone's hope of winning a championship or race for a championship on a win. And it brings it down to these four drivers who absolutely deserve it. We'll show their stats in a bit, but man, it's interesting how even they are. There's one guy who sticks out, and just like you, I have my favorite also, but it's very, very close, Mean Gene.
Yeah, we talked about this. All four of these guys have a path straight to victory lane, and they're all just a little bit different, which is what makes this so fascinating. We talked about Jax Duvall. This guy is the strategist. If I was going to give him a nickname, it would be the Florida tactician, because this guy has managed to manipulate race and mileage, but also run fast. He's not out there coasting. He's not stroking the shifter. He's not clutching it. He's still putting up fast laps, but he's finding more fuel mileage and pitting at just the right moment and coming in and out of that pit real smooth. So if there's a reason why Jax Duvall wins, I would say it's strategy and speed together, and that could make him the car to watch tonight, Zach.
Yeah, Duvall has been a tactician all season from the first race. I wish I could have been there in the booth with you that race, because, man, I loved what Jax did to get that win at Charlotte, I believe it was. But a brilliant pit strategy, stretching out his fuel longer than anyone else could even dream of in the field, and getting the win that locked him into the playoffs. And then ultimately, man, how important was that win, Mean Gene? Because while Duvall was very consistent, he needed those bonus points, which carried him to the round of 8, and then the round of 8 able to get his win at Atlanta and lock himself in the championship race. But I agree, Duvall, what makes Duvall interesting and dangerous is, yes, he does have the strategy and the smarts to always beat you on any given day, but he's not a slow driver either. He has the speed. So typically when he's running an alternate strategy, he's the first guy on that strategy. Everyone else running it with him is behind him.
Yeah, another guy I want to talk about also has got to be David Owens. You know, David Owens has more wins than anybody on this MRL series, and watching him drive week in and week out, he's always in position. He's ready to strike. He's like a viper or a cobra that you didn't know was there. And, you know, it's strange, Zach. He doesn't have a win yet this season, but he's due. It's not a situation of that he's waxing and going downhill. I think it's more along the lines of the league is getting faster, but you know what? Owens is going to strike. And I think tonight, with his consistency, with his experience, and maybe momentum, I'll talk a little bit about that more. This could be David Owens' night.
Yeah, David Owens is definitely the sleeper here. He is, got to mention this, he is now, as of Thursday night, a few days ago, the Thursday Truck Series champion as well. Totally different story over there in terms of his season with, I believe it was 5 wins.
Had to do it.
Yeah, we won't mention who came in second place, but 5 wins, I believe, on the season, and he actually, believe this, or this is a crazy thing. Let's get this out of the way. Let's mention this now. He came in second place to win the championship. The person who won the race wasn't eligible for a championship, but do you know who that was that won and dominated that race, Mean Gene?
Who that?
Jax Duvall.
No.
It was Jax Duvall. And I messaged Jax right after that race.
What's Florida man doing out there?
Yep.
What's Florida man doing out there?
I told my team, I was like, that is a great sign for Jax. We will talk about it during Zach on Track. These things race a lot different than the trucks do, but it is by no means a bad omen to come out and just absolutely have the fastest truck less than a week before you're racing a next gen at the same exact track. So while David Owens captured his second truck championship, but the truck championship with a second place, it was Jax Duvall who won the race. But I've been saying this for the past few weeks, Mean Gene. Watch today be the day that David Owens captures his first win this season. I don't think he'll care at all that he only got 1 win this season if it's today.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. And, think of it this way. In the NFL, you got to go up against a division rival twice. And so beat me once, sure, but the next time we play, it's that much harder. And tonight we're going to see a little rematch, Jax Duvall, David Owens, as they're going to battle here at Michigan International Speedway, not just for victory lane, but also for position with the other 2 guys to see who can come out on top. And Zach, I think we got a little surprise. I see a guy walking down the hall right now. I think it might be Mr. David Owens himself. David, is that you?
Yes, sir. How y'all doing?
Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the driver of the number 11 NAS Ford, David Owens. He's in that Final 4. Congratulations on that championship you won on Thursday, David. How'd you come out of that one feeling?
Oh, I felt amazing. That was an amazing race, great competition. That season overall over there was very tough competition, just like it is here on Monday nights. Zach definitely didn't make it easy throughout the season to be able to battle for that championship. So to be able to come out and catch that one second in a row, I was really going to be happy winning it, but if I was going to lose, wouldn't mind losing to Zach, because week in and week out, he's there. It's great competition, so love to be able to race with that man every week.
Thank you, David. Congrats on the championship.
I like hearing that. A lot of sportsmanship out there. I'm a little salty, though. My boy, see you on Monday, Joe Volpus. That's who I was pulling for to win that championship, but things just didn't work out for Joe. Maybe next time.
Ouch,
Ahmed wants to see him on Monday. Hey, I love you too, Zach, but Joe's my guy. Joe puts the things together for me behind the scenes, but like David just said, can't go wrong. Zach Panzarella, Joe Volpus, but David Owens going to get that dub. So, David, I got to talk about it. I mean, it's the question on everybody's mind. I mean, you're kind of the underdog. I called Vegas. I called Joey break your legs if you don't pay on Tuesday. And as far as the odds go, looks like David Owens has got the longest odds. How's that make you feel?
Love it. Count me out. Don't think I'm going to be competitive tonight. Don't think I'm going to win. That's fine. Be relaxed around me. I'm good with it. Be
relaxed. It's funny because earlier you told me you were too nice. You felt like there were chances that you said you were too nice. And then I waited 5 more races, and I never saw that front bumper of yours come into effect. Tonight, Michigan, I know Gulf Coast Racing is one of the tightest teams there are, but if you need that one extra spot, are we going to see the Viper strike? Will you become zero chill David Owens and do what needs to be done to raise that championship trophy above your head?
It's really hard for me to really put the bumper to anybody. I'm not ever going to shy away from that. I try to stay as clean and respectful as I can, but as one of my favorite drivers once said, I'll wreck my mom for a championship.
Oh, I love it. Let's credit somebody. Who said that one?
Tony Stewart.
Yes, he did.
Tony Stewart. I tell you what, Smoke's about as good a guy as you can get if you're going to emulate coming out of this thing. Last question I want to ask you, David, before we let you go. Any PTSD from Michigan last year? You came here at Michigan, you got into some foolishness early, you ended up finishing second to last. Any memories of that, or is it just the broadcaster bringing it up?
Just the broadcast bringing it up. That's all it is.
Love it.
So,
Well, we're gonna.
enjoy
One
the show
word.
is what I can say.
I tell you what, one word answers. He's short, he's focused, and he's ready to go tonight. David, good luck tonight, my friend. Keep it between the lines and show him why you got more wins than anybody else tonight, David. Go get him.
Yes, sir.
luck,
Appreciate
my
it,
man.
boys. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks,
Thank
David.
you.
All right, me and
Ooh,
Gene.
he sounded focused, didn't he?
Oh.
Like he sounded nervous last week, but this week, well, he sounded like a man on a mission.
He sounded intense, Mean Gene. He didn't want to hear it. He didn't want to hear certain things we had to say about his past. I love it. I love it. And that's the way you got to be before a championship race. But, Mean Gene, we don't only have one driver today with us, do we? Do you want to bring in our next one? Because we're talking to all these guys.
All right, I'm going to give you this guy. Let's see if I can surprise him and pull him out of the water like a turtle. Here
Let's
he comes.
do it.
Oh, he's protected. Now there he is.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, buddy Sully.
Oh, get him.
Hey, how are you guys?
How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing okay.
So, you are live here with us today. One of our Championship 4. We got your beautiful car on screen. Throwing back to your first race here this season with us in MRL. Wow. So, let's pull up your stats today, just as we did, or your stats this season, just as we did with David. You, by far, buddy, have the second most impressive stats. I'm sure you know who has slightly better, more laps led wins than you. But with all that said, how do you feel going into today's race?
A little bit nervous. Luckily, this track is kind of at the start of a run. It's more of a packed track, so I think it's going to be more about tire conservation than just flat out speed because of the draft.
Yeah, I could totally see that. It's going to happen quick. I do think the draft in the beginning is going to be super, super intense. This league with one fast repair, what's your level of aggressiveness you have planned for today? Because as I'm sure I don't have to tell you this, the wrecks can pile up quickly and become, well, a 2-car wreck can become a 7-car wreck, just like a super speedway here.
Oh, yeah, and it happens fast. The only strategy I have going in is being patient, because you can't win anything if you're not there at the end. So I'd prefer to have the fast repair for the end if chaos ensues then. So early on, I'm not really looking to be aggressive or anything, and just hopefully it benefits on the back end of a run with saving tires or whatever.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. That makes a lot of sense. Well, before we let you back at it, buddy, the only driver in our Final Four that was in last year's MRL Michigan race was David Owens. So how do you like this track? How do you feel about this track as a whole? How do you feel going into this one, especially with 110-degree track temperature?
The track feels really good. I like Michigan. It's a fun track to race as long as you're around the right people, if that makes any sense. Because this track can be either be a disaster for someone or it can be really, really fun. But I think with this group of people, it'll be fun. I've raced around David Owens a whole lot, so definitely going to be fun racing him and Cook and Jax.
It's a great group of 4, buddy. Well, I'll let you back to practicing. Best of luck today. And as I say every time I get the chance to talk to you, thank you for everything you've done on your end today. This season. I cannot wait till next season when we can integrate SDK properly and show off all the amazing work you've done. So thank you for everything, man. And great job this season. Hoping for the best for you tonight.
All right, thank you.
All right, Mean Gene. That was quite the opposite, was it not? He sounded calm, cool, and collected.
I don't know. It sounded like there might have been a little bit of nerves, a little bit more than Owens. Owens was focused. Sully, though, we talked about the different pathways that people take to get that win. And I think for Buddy Sully, it's just straight speed. This guy, the way that he came on at the end of the year to get that necessary win, the way he jacked another win from everybody, he's gotten more poles than anybody. This dude is just straight up fast. Speedway, intermediate course. Tonight, though, Michigan, slick tires, hot track, couple of 3 bad turns, and those tires could just suddenly go the wrong way.
They could. I totally agree with you that Buddy Sully's move all year, really, and it should be no different today, is raw speed. That dude is super quick. Him already mentioning tires and talking about tires and thinking about that is a really good sign for him, because that does become really, really important. This is one of those tracks, Mean Gene, that can kind of tease you into wanting to run more wide open than you really should, because that will catch up to you quicker than you know. And while you might think it feels great for 5-10 laps, before you know it, you're getting passed by cars that have way more tire life than you and a long way to go in the run.
Yeah, I ran some practice laps here just to see what it was like. I don't have a ton of experience in these cars, and I noticed that how quickly, after about 7 laps, I lost a full second. 5 more laps, I lost a second and a half. 1 more lap, I found myself in the wall, spinning into the infield. So, you know, these guys got a lot more experience than I do. They got a lot more talent, a lot more time behind that wheel. Don't think Buddy Sully's going to be a victim of a spin, but hey, you never know. We saw a lot of that at Richmond, people just whacking that wall, and it was definitely a result of tire wear and not conserving. So you're right, really good news for that 21 team to hear Buddy Sully's already thinking about that tire wear. I'll tell you what, let's try to pull another guy down out of the hall, see what I can do about this right here. Hey, Jax Duval, Mean Gene Money in the booth, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, it is the Florida man. You won the first race. You pushed your way in with another race. You've been top 3 in points all year long. No surprise to see you here. How are you feeling on this hot Michigan track?
Pretty good. Just we're gonna try to keep the tires on it.
That has been a theme. We just talked with Buddy Sully. He said pretty much the same thing. Got to keep an eye on those tires. I don't want you to reveal too much, but how far do you think you can make it on a set of tires before you got to change your driving style?
Actually, I don't. I know I can go about 30 laps and drop it down to 4th gear and keep up the times.
Oh, look at that. We're getting a little free strategy from the tactician right there, Zach. What do you think? Other guys going to listen to him and steal his strat?
Ooh, I mean, that was fascinating to me. But your secret is safe with us, Jax. But that is a good call.
We won't tell anybody else except the people listening to the broadcast.
Let them steal it. They got to still control that car.
True that.
I hear that, and that's why you're behind the wheel of that thing right now. Jax Duval, he is the driver of the 84 Chevrolet. Looking at a couple of your stats right here, 2 wins, 1 pole, 4 top 5s, led 50 laps. I think definitely coming into this thing, you are one of my top drivers I'm keeping an eye on because of your strategy. Are you sharing that strategy with Owens and the other guys? Or when it comes to gas, tires, and pits, is it every man for himself?
It's every man for himself. I got East Coast Alliance behind me tonight.
Ooh, I love it. So he's pulling in a team of mercenaries to make sure he gets the job done. You know, and it's fun because, Jax, you know, a certain idea, theme, image comes behind mercenaries, and that might be aggressive villains. And, Jax, you know, you had a really interesting win when somehow cars got spun in front of you. Parham got spun. David Owens got spun. Has anybody given you a little bit of side eye or mentioned anything that maybe you're an aggressive guy this year? And how does that make you feel?
I kind of felt like I had to pick up the aggression a little bit. And when it comes down to the final lap tonight, well, we're going to definitely put the bumper.
I'll tell you what, you know, I was asking, you know, because people have said that about using the bumper before. You know, I said Matthew Fritz needed to use it more. Guess who finished 5th in points and didn't quite make it? That's right, Matthew Fritz. David Owens, he was on the cusp all year long, and the thing he kept saying over and over is, I'm too nice, I'm too nice. And I think sometimes it's not a matter of just being a wrecking ball. You don't want to womp everybody on the track, but on the other hand, if you are not willing to do what needs to be done to get the race won, if you don't have a little Tony Stewart in you, you're going to be on the outside looking out. And I am super happy to hear, Jax, that you're not going to be that guy. You're not going to pull a Blaney to the Logano and just watch him win that race. If it's necessary, I'm looking forward to you doing what needs to be done. Any last words you want to give the listeners at home before we let you off, Jax? Get back to practice.
Just enjoy the show. Hopefully we put on a good one for you.
Oh, there it is. Jax Duval, driver of the number 84 Chevrolet, ran 2nd in points all year, 2nd and 3rd, and now we see him in the Final 4. One of our gladiators. Good luck out there, Jax. Give him hell and show him what the swamp's about.
Good luck, Jax. Get her
guys.
done.
Thank you.
You can't really read that guy, can you?
No, it seemed like he embraced it though. When I brought up that villain, you know, that villain hat. I mean, I think I could hear him twirling his Snidely Whiplash mustache there on the mic.
I couldn't help but laugh. You told him, like, so, how do you feel about people feeling this way about you? He's like, I don't think I'm doing enough. That's so funny.
I love it. But that's why he's here. You know, that is why he's here. He puts his nose where it needs to be. Because you know who we don't see getting spun at the end of the race? Who we don't see on the side crying with the towel? And it's Jax Duvall. We see him in victory lane. We see him up on that podium. And tonight, I think with a little bit of strategy, a little bit of luck, and the rest of it's the skill that he's shown here in QRL over the last few seasons, he could be up on the top of that podium with that speed in that and that strategy and his ability to use aggression, his willingness to do what it takes to get the job done.
Yeah, absolutely. It's win. Like you say it all the time. Win now, apologize later, and that kind of is the mantra as the mantra of Jax Duvall. And we give Jax, I guess, a hard time sometimes for being an aggressive driver, but at the same time, he's always there, and to be there, you have to be really, really fast. And you're kind of allowed a certain level of aggression when you're as quick as Jax Duvall is. He kind of earns his ability to be aggressive. You can kind of compare him to someone like Ross Chastain or something, where it's like, yeah, he's a very, very aggressive driver, but does he not deserve to be here? Is he not a quality driver that deserves wins? So, nothing wrong with the type of driver that Jax Duvall is.
You know, I'm not a fan of Ross Chastain.
No, I'm not either.
I feel like he let off this last season, and I think we really saw it affect his points and what happened. I think a part of him, he was like on his apology tour this year.
Yep.
And making sure that he didn't get involved in any of that stuff. And that's really great, you know, for camaraderie and making friends. But let's face it, you know who has a lot of friends? Corey LaJoy. And guess where Corey LaJoy is, where he is next year? That's right, he's watching. He's up here with us, hoping to get a job in a booth somewhere. Harrison Burton.
And way less funny than us.
Too.
And way less funny than us.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. He probably could be on Fox News before I am. He's got better hair.
No, I was literally about to say, I have better, long, luscious hair than Corey LaJoy. I'll have to show you guys one day. But I have long hair, kind of like Corey, but mine's better. It's better in every way.
I've got radio hair. That's how we do it right here.
Yeah, you do.
I got my hair set up for the radio.
Look at Owens on screen right now. We're going to see a little bit of this on during the race. Hopefully not from David Owens, but that exit of a 3 right there, Mean Gene, this just happened while we were watching Owens. Look at this. Look how easy this can happen. Looking straight, just a little bit close to that wall, and I think that's what made him put a little more input into the wheel, and around he goes.
Didn't you have the opportunity to experience a little bit of that today?
Yes, I did, and I don't know where David Cook is right now, which is, he might be, a lot of times what you see when someone has this type of speed, stop driving, stop practicing, don't let other people ride along with you. So let's ride along with somebody way less talented.
I sent a message to his PR team. They didn't get back with me, so I imagine that he's just dialed in right now. He's probably got the headphones on, listening to Celine Dion or whatever he does to get himself pumped up.
That's what happens when you pay in advance for these interviews. They just don't show up sometimes.
I got to learn that trick.
Right? One day we'll be that famous. So I almost just came out here in the wrong setup, as you guys can see what I'm doing on screen right here. But I'm going to go and do a little Zach on track for you guys. First of all, way more importantly, me and Gene, let's get the logo up. The Zach on track logo. Boom. All right, boys.
There it is.
Let's do this. I'm going to get some music to get me pumped up. And here we go. I'm going to test drive on this track. And like I said, guys, I was putting down heaters. I genuinely did feel like when David was just talking about that championship race we had, I felt like one of the fastest cars out there, if not the fastest. But man, the second I started this next gen, things got a lot different. It is a lot looser, and I apologize for that beeping that y'all guys don't hear. It's only when I shift, which you're not going to do a ton of here. So I was also very fascinated, Mean Gene, about Jax Duvall bringing up 4th gear. Because to me, this is a track that I'm going to want to be in 5th a lot. But 4th gear does give you a lot of turning with that engine braking, doesn't it? So here we go. I'm gonna simulate a hot lap, kind of like qualifying. So I'm gonna run all the way to the wall here to give myself the best run possible coming to the start finish line. And what I'm hearing from every next gen driver is you gotta check up early, you gotta back these corners up, because you really want the runs out of the corner as opposed to going into them deep. So I'm gonna check up early. I'm gonna try to get to the second lane here. And we talked about this earlier, Mean Gene. There's actually different banking below there, in that bottom of that 1 and 2. There's less banking. So in terms of keeping momentum here on the next gen, it really is important to stay in that lane and keep that banking, as that's Michael Mata below me. He can't see me. I'm a ghost car. Let me see if I can even keep up with him, as I completely overblew that corner, went in way too deep looking in my rearview mirror at Michael Mata. But let's see if I can follow Mata and not embarrass myself, Mean Gene. As here we go.
I got faith. I got faith.
Hopefully. Milo, low entry. Very interesting. He might be just messing around here. That's an interesting line. I'm going to try to drive off a little bit better than that. And yeah, see, I like my exit a little bit better than Mata's there. Mata, I think, trying new things. Oh, yeah, pulling off the track. Distracting me. So many lines here, Mean Gene, and I think this is why this is such a great championship track. So many different places you can go. You can go all the way to the bottom here in 3 and 4. And I will say, in this next gen, it's not easy. I am loose, just like Owens was. But if you look at my relative there in the top, you see how much better it is to get that big exit. Let me try this one more time. I'm going to do one more lap for you guys. Here we go. I'm going to try to check up early. Aim for the bottom the best I can. Back on the gas. I'm going to try full throttle and see if it sticks. It's going to sticking, but it wants to go up the track. I feel okay. Okay. That was all right, but not a great exit. As you can see, my relative still not going up the way I'd love it to. I'm going to check up early again here. And the truck, I'm doing it way later than that, Mean Gene. And here we go. Let's see if I can hold the bottom here. I can't. Look how loose that gets. These guys are in for a challenge. And what was the temperature of the track again? Because I am feeling it.
About 110.
You can feel it, Mean Gene. It is so hard to get back on the gas here. I'm going to try one more thing. Let me try to shift to 4th. Okay, that feels good. It's loose, though.
Doing the Jax Duval.
I'm doing the
Duval
Jax
thing.
Mm-hmm. I can see how that's going to help with tire wear, because it allows you to drive off the rear tire. And the way you know I'm driving off the rear tire is you'll see my wheel straighten out quite a bit. So let's try it again. Down to 4th. And look how it gets loose, and it's kind of a controlled spin here. My wheel is straight, but I am nearly out of control. But that does save a lot of tire, Mean Gene. I see why DeVal wants to do that. And man, that's going to be a lot of shifting. I don't envy the guys who choose that strategy. Let's see if the Mata style early works better. Man, this thing is loose. But you just got to attack this track to have any open. That is, I believe Buddy Solly behind me, it is. And look at how much faster these guys are than me. It's incredible how good they are. And let's see what Sully does here. From the top, a nice even arc. And he'll probably slide back up there. There he goes. That's a momentum. You know what that line is to me, Mean Gene? That is a great line to save tires that we're seeing Sully run right there. I like what I'm seeing
there too, right?
Yep. Absolutely. So that is interesting. Wow, that was, honestly, for that amount of laps, not quite what I was expecting. That was brutal. I'm a little bit tired.
I can imagine, especially with the shifting, and you were only out there for a few laps. You can imagine the tire wear and how slick those things are going to get to these other guys.
I felt it already. I was already feeling the car not wanting to turn. That was, wow. You got to take care of those tires, Mean Gene.
Well, I'll tell you what, people that I don't know about taking care of tires yet, but I'm looking at these practice times, Zach, and there are some burners out there. How about Mata and Bobby Dodson just putting together a couple of flaming runs? After that, David Cook, he looks really good, but he's got Buddy Sully right behind him. So as far as the practice times go, Cook with a slight advantage over Sully. Jax Duval a little bit behind, actually, you know, a full 10th of a second, you know, 1400ths of a second. So got to wonder if that's just tire wear or Duval playing that long game. If he does that tire thing you're talking about, he might be dialed in for some longer runs. And then David Owens right now showing the slowest car in practice of the 4 championship drivers. Now, again, this is not reflective of what they're going to do after 10, 20, 30 laps is the number that Jax actually gave to us. So be very curious to see exactly what's going to happen to these cars as the race progresses.
Yeah, this is going to be absolutely fascinating, and I think what we kind of guessed what David Cook was doing is exactly what he did. He put down a heater, and he's like, that's enough. I'm sure he put in a lot of practice for today's race, and he doesn't feel a need to show anyone else what cards he's holding. So I love that. You see that a lot in these intense races. But yeah, it's really going to come down to how many cautions we get, kind of the vibe of the race, and how exactly things play out. That's going to play a massive, massive role in the what is most important and what people focused on, right? You can tell Sully here with a big focus on long run speed. That won't matter if we end up going to overtime or something like that. You're still going to have to make sure you know how to be quick on the short run. And just bring this up this one time because he may go out there and get the pole like he's been known to do. But Michael Mata, nothing worse than being so close to racing for a championship, showing up to the championship race, and then having race winning speed. But nonetheless, super, super happy to see Michael Mata here as we have about 20 seconds left of practice before we start our qualifying, which will be a massive thing. You really want to start out front here. You want to control the race. And this is a really good sized field for a championship race, Mean Gene. I would anticipate a good amount of yellows with how loose this track is and how much room there is to race on it, how much 3 wide, 4 wide action, and I think we'll see.
Yeah, especially once those tires start to wear out. 20 drivers right now have registered for this race. Going to be exciting to see exactly the different strategies. And the other thing about Michael Mata is he's got that full team here today. MC Motorsports, Kay Sabir, Bobby Dodson, Michael Mata, all 3 here. And this Michigan International Speedway does have super speedway tendencies as far as that draft goes. So going to be fascinating to see what happens as these guys are racing. You know, Mata, the biggest mistake I think that we saw Mata have, the worst misfortune, I should say, definitely had to be just starting late, starting the season later, missing those first few races and not having an opportunity to get more points from wins, which I really think he would have had at least one more win. And now that team, MC Motorsports, is solidified, I think they're going to be a danger at super speedways as well as some of those intermediate tracks.
Yeah, I think so as well. I'm excited to see what he's able to do next year. And yeah, even more than disconnect at Darlington, you can definitely blame the lack of time that he spent in the regular season that came back to bite him. But as qualifying starts, Mean Gene, since we spent so much time on it and we love it so much, we want you guys, if you're tuning in now, to see the story of how we got here. We have just enough time. Let's hit that preview video one more time, show you guys how we got here, and we will talk to you guys right when qualifying is over.
Nation race, the Great 8, the Elite 8 is about to become the Final 4. I'm Mean Gene Money. I've got Zach Panzarella here.
This thing's a full reset, right? Playoffs mean you get through elimination and then you magically just find yourself back where you were at the very beginning of that playoff run. So final 8 drivers.
All you need to know is that we're holding on. Even if we fall, we will rise up and we follow the path that we believe in. No, we're not gonna stop until we reach it. All you need to know is that we're holding on. We rise up from the dust.
Oh, I heard. Oh! Iverson with a massive hit.
Volpus got into the back of it.
And around goes Volpus. Around goes Volpus. Oh, Owens into him.
Oh, there's a lot of drivers involved. Mata, Cook, and one last time. And there it is.
Yes, sir.
David Cook is your winner, chicken dinner.
The track, letting these guys race it out. 2 to go. If we get to the white flag, the next flag will end the race. This is unbelievably intense.
It's insane. Tony Iverson back there still doing Tony Iverson Atlanta things. Look at Parham. He's trying to stay with his teammate, but that inside.
There goes Fritz.
Fritz with the move.
Fritz to the bottom. And Parham gets it. Unbelievable. Parham can help him. He gets turned. Will they get to the caution is out. Iverson's race is over. Mata's race is over. Iverson and Mata will not be restarting, which means they won't be finishing the race, which means they'll be essentially in must-win.
And David Owens hold off. The 28 cuts down hard. Marrow. He wants to win. He makes
hard side draft.
David Owens still in the lead. Owens trying to get help from
Jackson's gonna go for it here, and he sends him around. It looks like it's gonna be Duvall. It's Jax Duvall. It's gonna be racing for a championship. Duvall gets it done.
Oh, right away they get together. Walton and Iverson are together. Big wreck, big wreck. Needs to have the chance at Bollinger. Here goes Cook. Cook is loose. Mata to the inside.
Here we go. He's got Austin Dillon it right here. This is it.
He does. This is his only chance. The 53 of Bollinger. Will he do it? Will Mata make the move? He doesn't. He's not close enough. Bollinger is going to come over part-time and get the win, and Mata spins on exit. Around he goes, across the checker flag into Cook. Finished this season with 4 deserving drivers racing for a super coveted championship that will, I mean, it means so much at this point. It is finalized. It's going to be David Cook, David Owens, Jax Duvall, and Buddy Soley racing for a championship next week.
Wait to see you next time, and as always, bottoms up and hammer down. Ooh, Zach, that was as good the second time for me. I don't know if it was as good for you as it was for me.
Maybe even better.
But it just shows the picture. It just lets us see exactly how we got here and some of the high stakes that different drivers had to go through to make it to this final point. And speaking of high stakes, your prediction came true. We were talking about Buddy practicing long runs, and then you said, watch Buddy come out. And just like you said, Buddy Sully's going to come out and score another pole position here at Michigan International. So Buddy Sully is on the pole, and then that fast MC Motorsports team right behind him, Michael Mott, is going to be on that second row, on that first row right next to him. Bobby Dodson and David Owens is going to be row 2. David Cook, Jack Sanders, row 3. Alex Hillman, Kevin Brower, row 4. Jonathan Casabir, Steve Lewis, row 5. And those names are going to be significant. Jack Sanders, Steve Lewis, and Richard Swingle. You remember Jack said he got him some mercenaries for today? And those are the 3 guys. He's got last year's series winner, Colonel Jack Sanders, and then he's got T-Bone Motorsports teammate Steve Lewis, and then Richard Swingle of those hot, swaggy wraps that we put on our cars. So that team right there is going to be combating. I'm looking at the other ones, Zach. Looks like Buddy and David Owens are actually in the same Discord, along with Joe Volpus and veteran driver Tony Iverson.
Owens loves that. He loves to invite, which is honestly great sportsmanship. He loves to invite his competitors, especially intense races, to his Discord. I personally like to be alone with my team during these, but Owens has that much confidence in his speed and has that much confidence, and he's also just that high of a sportsman. He has that in sportsmanship. He really is that fair. But yeah, Buddy Solly with his 6th pole of the season. And for the last time this season, and it pains me to say this, me and Jane, but for the last time this season, only one thing left to do.
And now, race fans, for the most famous words in motorsports, the star of Universal Pictures movie, I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry, Kevin James.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops, God bless America, and gentlemen, start your engine!
They are starting him up. I'll tell you what, Kevin James might need one of those horse bath body wipes after that scream. I think I saw his blood pressure. I think I saw his blood pressure shoot up, and he started sweating, and God knows what else was coming out of where else on that one. He had a lot of energy.
He does. I mean, it's amazing that week after week he's able to replicate that level of energy. Me and Gene, we really we get what we pay for.
Yeah, Every time, Kevin James, bring back that comedy. Bring back that NASCAR comedy.
Please.
All right, so cars are out on the track. This is it. This is the last warm-ups for the season. Watching these guys zip around. Some really cool paint schemes out here today. Jax Duvall, you can see him running in his typical number 84 Goldfish. I think he ought to be in a shark, though, instead of the Goldfish, because he hasn't been getting eaten very much. He's been doing the eating. And you talked about Buddy's car as well. He's running that first paint scheme that he ever had. That's a nice one as well, right?
Yeah, that's an
What is
awesome
that? Seven brew? What is
seven
that?
brew. I don't know what that is. Let's see if I can get a closer look. I'm hoping like a awesome beer that's local to him or something, and not an energy drink.
Oh, I bet it's a coffee.
Yeah, maybe it is. Drive-through coffee. I love me some good coffee. Here we go. So let's keep our eyes all day, me and Gene, on these 4 cars. The 21 of Buddy Sully, the 11 of Owens, the 84 of Duvall, and the 71 of Cook. For the last time this season, me and Gene, here we go.
All right, they're coming in. The control car is Buddy Sully. He's on the bottom, and he is off. Great start on that outside by Michael Mata. They're still side by side. Bobby Dodson, he is behind Buddy Sully. He's not with his teammate, but he's still pushing hard. David Owens on the outside of the second row. David Cook as well. Owens starts to fall off just a little bit inside row. Tight 3 cars outside. Michael Mata on that lead row by himself as Owens fades back to the third row. That's going to let David Cook fade right back up into Cook's lane on that outside. That is a guy you don't want to see get in the lead early, Zach, because he will just ghost you.
Cook, time and time this season, has shown exactly that. He can just check out on you faster than you can blink. It's incredible, and he doesn't seem to fall off at all when he brings out those huge leads early. So, yeah, exactly. Look out for Cook as he goes to the inside of Sully early. Clearly, tons of short-run speed out of that 71 of Cook, and like we talked about before the race, he didn't show as much of his hand during practice. We don't really know what to expect from that 71 of Cook besides just raw speed like we've seen all season.
Yeah, that's something you definitely can expect from the 71 driver.
Oh, we got a car loose. We got a car loose.
Already.
Looks like we got Steve Lewis loose out of 2 there. Not too much action otherwise. Looks like he did a great job of gathering it up. Here's the replay for us, folks. Oh, it looks like 9 of Brower off the wall into Lewis. Great save from all involved, especially Steve Lewis.
Yeah, Steve Lewis, he missed a few races. He had a little bit of an illness. Really good to see Steve Lewis back out there. Missed him as he was recovering from that, but Steve Lewis able to make it back for our season finales. Still running up there, David Cook. Now he's got a new person in his target, in his sights, but he's got to get by the ever fast Buddy Sully. And I don't know how to describe Michael Mata. This guy has a chip on his shoulder the size of Alaska. He definitely has something to prove to everybody else. Contact, wow, the 6 just getting into it, kind of knocking Medina around. That looked
3
pretty
wide
rough.
behind him. 3, yeah, that looked aggressive. It's tough back there, me and Gene. That's really where the dirty air is affecting you every which way. There's so many cars in front of you and so many different lanes being used that the dirty air is essentially everywhere once you find yourself that far back in the field. And look at that, the 21, the 71 battling. This to both of these guys, me and Gene, I don't think they care about that 16 Amada at all. These guys are racing for a championship. To them, second place, as long as it's against the 71 or the 21, is first place. And with that said, our new championship, or the guy, if the race ended right now, who'd be our champion, would be David Cook in second place. And just as a reminder, guys, stage points don't matter. Bonus points don't matter today. It's a complete reset, and whoever of our championship 4 finishes the highest wins the championship. That's it.
Yep, and right now, looking like David Cook. I'll tell you, he is dialed in, but Buddy Sully right behind him. We talked about Sully with those long runs, and as long as Michael Mata is in front of Cook, he's not going to escape, and those other guys are going to stay up with him tight. Yeah, Bobby got a little loose there, didn't he?
Big moment there from the 32 of Dotson. Good eye as well. Yeah, definitely watch the exits of the corners as these runs go on. Behind him there is David Owens, and really when you're going to see the loose moments, Mean Gene, is when they try to make passes, because the best way to defend here is to choke up the exit, stay on the outside, and not give them the room they want to drift out of the corner, and that's how cars can get really, really loose, having to put extra steering input on the exit of corners. So keep your eye for that. I would not be surprised if we see the 11, the 32 have a few moments as they start to battle, because the longer this run goes on, the harder it gets to pass.
I think we're seeing a little bit of that right now with Jack Sanderson at 25 and Tony Iverson. Iverson finally clears Sanders and cuts up in front of him. But that was some interesting racing there for just a few minutes between the 25 and the 13. So much so that right behind them, we see Richard Swingle kind of get out of the way, Jose Medina in that little group as well. So those guys were side-by-side racing for a little bit back there, 9th, 10th, 11th spot, and they have finally started to settle into that. And the other guy to look at back there, Zach, it's got to be Jax Duvall. He's just kind of cruising around in 12th. He started 13th. He's in 12th. Don't think he's too concerned about what's happening here this first stage yet.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to keep our eye on Duvall. Oh, my goodness. Look how loose that just got in front of him. That's the really, really scary part about running where in the field Duvall is we are on board with him right now, and look at the absolute craziness, the amount of lanes being used in front of him, the lack of clean air. You can hear his tires. You look at you hear the smoke, or you see the smoke. Whenever you see smoke, that's not good. That's Hillman loose in front of him. Hillman clearly got loose a corner before, and there's still tons of heat in those tires for the 904. He needs to get that car back beneath him, especially with championship drivers around him. Good job by Duvall to stay disciplined as he goes to the inside of Medina there. But Duvall, you're right, kind of just hanging out right now, taking what he can get, being patient. We got to keep an eye on him, because if he ends up 11th at the end of this tire run, that is not a good sign. But if he ends up in the top 5 because he's protecting his tires by anyone else, then that is better than most, and he has something that others may not later in this race.
You know, another guy I just watched doing a little bit of tire maintenance, I think, was David Owens. David Owens just kind of slowed down on the straightaway, came through the turn clean, but then he just chose to slow down and let 3 cars go by him. He let Casabir and Iverson and Swingle just kind of go on through. I wonder if he's watching his tire temp as well. All these drivers fully aware of the devastating effects that slick tires could have. 110 degrees here on the track today, so you don't want to be caught up with slick tires once you get too far into this. Only lap 9, but that's about the time these things get slick, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think with Owens, too, probably even more than tire saving, me and Gene, we got 100 laps around this very large racetrack today. These are 40-second laps, so 100 laps here is quite a long race. And the biggest advice I always give to my team when they join MRL and they're used to other leagues that we race in with shorter races, MRL is a marathon, not a sprint. If you treat these races like sprints, you're going to use your fast repair before you know it. You're going to be using up your tires. You're going to put yourself in a bad situation that makes the rest of the race miserable. And I think David Owens is trying to think of the grand scheme of things here, not do anything crazy. And look at that! Not have exactly what just happened behind him happen to him. That was a big moment. Who exactly was that? I'm trying to figure out. It looks like it was Bollinger.
That was Guerin for sure.
Guerin in there as well, the 57 with that. Oh, that paint scheme is so awesome. I love that throwback. But what happened here is we're going to take another look. Guerin's going to get loose on his. Look how far back that car is, right into the 07 of Vulpes. That's going to be considerable damage for Vulpes. It was.
Of course it was Joe. Joe gets whacked. Joe gets whacked on more than a guy that didn't pay the bookie.
Straight up. He really does. And that was, I mean, it's going to be sad and funny at the same time. Look how little Jax could do about this, and probably how little he knew would even happen. There goes Guerin to the inside. He's loose. Duvall, oh my goodness. Nothing Duvall can do. And listen to the car, and look at the steering wheel. Look at the steering wheel.
Oh, wow. That's no bueno.
For those who don't know, that orange mark is supposed to be the center. And
no,
it's the center. Straight. Now that you're turning left, it's straight. That's what it takes for it to go straight. It's probably going to hit the wall again. You got to pit there. Oh, wow. Looked like Vulpes maybe wanted to pit, but wasn't able to there. Look at that down the straightaways, me and Gene. I cannot believe he's not pitting.
He's going to have to do some adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, up front, we got a new leader. David Cook and Buddy Sully have both gotten by Michael Mata. Mata might have drove those tires off that thing, or more likely, Mata might have just kind of scooted back so he could hook up with his teammate Bobby Dodson in 4th place. So, new leader, David Cook on the outside. You got Buddy Sully, Mata pushing as hard as he can. And behind them, MC teammates Bobby Dodson and Jonathan Casabir. So, 3, 4, and 5, those are all teammates who excel at super speedway situations. So, gonna have to keep an eye on that. That has no bearing on the championship, Zach.
Oh, man.
But who cares when you can put that trophy above your head, say, and have a situation where you win and everyone forgets your name immediately.
Yeah, I mean, a trophy is a trophy. I totally agree. I mean, if you're Mata, I think what it may have been as well, is he may have burned up the tires, but now he is splitting the championship drivers. But really impressive for Sully to stay with Cook that whole time. And I think for Mata, you see 2 championship drivers coming hard to you. You let them both go and race it out. And then once they're past you, you do what Mata's doing now and race with them. But I think Mata wanted to figure out, am I holding these guys up or can I actually race them straight up? And clearly he can. But David Cook, we've talked about it all season and we talked about it today already. Don't let this guy lead a race and don't let him lead one early. We're only 14 laps into this race. David Cook has the lead. Oh boy. Let's see if this lead extends like it normally does. As Mata, wow, making an aggressive move to the outside.
Now, you got to keep in mind what happened last week, though. David Cook led
Yellow
all
is
those
out.
laps. Caution on the track.
Let's see. Oh, wow.
Oh,
Huge wreck.
26. That's who's that? That's Mason Smalley getting together with Richard Swingle. Swingle
And
to
Hillman.
97.
This has been the danger zone this whole run, and all the incidents we've seen has come from this group of cars. 26 is loose. Hillman not really checking up to help. I don't know what Hillman really could have done. Into Swingle, up the track. Hillman gets it anyway. Massive hit, and nowhere the 9 per hour can go
big
either.
old T-bone. KB getting that T-bone.
I'm happy we're getting the classics on the last race of the season. To start off the race, we get a T-bone central.
Look at it. 26 hits reverse and gets even with him. Says, I'm going to hit you too.
My goodness. And still in reverse. Oh, gosh.
Oh.
As if that car wasn't
Hard
destroyed
hit.
before, he made sure it was the second time.
Mason, that's painful.
So let's look at this from a different angle. It's definitely the 26 getting loose. There he is loose. Loose again. Car's just not underneath him. Oh, and really Hillman had nothing to do with that at all. And wow.
Oh, but he got involved in it though.
Oh, he got
whether
some.
he wanted to or not.
He got some. And here it looks like the majority of the field pitting, but not our leader of Cook, not the 32 of Dotson. Is there anybody else? And it looks like the 6 of Case of Beer, and that is it. Oh boy, Mean Gene.
What about Mata? Did Mata go in?
He did.
So what did he do? He just told his 2 teammates, Dodson and Case of Beer, hey, keep an eye on that 71 for me. I'm going to go get new tires.
Give him hell. Yep, give him hell, and
give
I'll
him
go
the
past
business.
guys. Exactly. That is the nice thing about having a team, and really when I joined MRL, I joined alone, and I built a team with my other league, and it makes all the difference in the world, especially in these really, really important races when you might be racing for something that the rest of your team isn't. You kind of do. What have you been calling them today? Like mercenaries? It kind of
the
is what they're
mercs.
like for you. Nothing
so what
dirty,
you're
obviously.
saying is you walk alone? You walk alone?
I used to
Dusty
be.
Road?
I used to be like I walk alone, like Batista.
Mm-hmm.
But not anymore. And I can tell you this much, Miji, and it's much nicer not to.
Oh, I agree. I race Sunday mornings in our sister league, Bonfire Race League. Sunday morning. In fact, we got recruitment races, and that season is going to start up next year. If you're interested in running some next-gen cups on a Sunday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern in the morning, won't interfere with your day.
No,
Give
won't.
Kevin Kyle a shout. Give me a shout. Write it down. Say something here on YouTube. We'll get back with you. I'm new to that series, so right now it's just me and some French Canadians right now having a big old time over there watching the other veterans get around.
French Canadians are fun to race with. They're
Ooh.
not quite as funny as Australians, but they're
here's-
fun.
All right, there's some EOLs right there.
Uh-oh, are there?
Looks like Brandon Guerin got him one. Richard Swingle got him one.
Can't say I disagree with Garen getting one. Whether or not he meant to take 4 cars with him, he got loose and did.
I mean, if you're going to do something, do it big. Don't go
Yeah.
halfway. That's what my old man used to say.
And if that's what his old man taught him, then he learned well.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't get a chance to talk to David Cook, and now that we have about a minute before we go green, let's just real quickly pull these up, Mean Gene. This is why he's my favorite to get it done
Those
today.
stats.
Look at those stats. That laps led, that 339 you see there, is about 10 less than the other 3 combined that he's racing against. That wins is as much as everyone has combined. The pulls is not really where we've never seen David Cook shine. He really is a long-run, methodical type of driver. But what also sticks out to me and Gene, is the lack of incidents. This guy just knows how to get out there, get it done, and do it cleanly.
It's hard to have an incident when you're in the lead, right?
Makes it a lot easier not to. That's very, very true. And also the speed rating. That is that 113.7, which is very high over the course of a season. That's the highest amongst our top 4. So David Cook, statistically, is our favorite. And for me personally, I think he's my favorite as well to get this done.
Well, you and the president-elect, remember,
That too.
47 did pick him when this playoff started.
And we know about Cook's restarts, and we're about to get one of them.
All right, so here we go. Pace car is off the track. David Cook is your control car. He's on the inside. Bobby Dodson behind him.
Green
Into
flag,
the
green
Geico
flag.
restart zone. Quick jump. Cook starts about the halfway point. He gets about 3 car lengths ahead. Side by side behind him, the MC Motorsport teammates of Jonathan Quesabir and Bobby Dodson. David Cook, Michael Mata, and Buddy Sully. So you're looking at 3. Contact.
Owens gets together with Mata,
Owens.
yeah.
Woo, 3 wide, Buddy Sully on the outside now.
Still
that kind
touching.
of backs up the track back there. Nobody wants to blink, and that's going to affect Jack Sanders coming up behind Owens. And then look, there's Jax Duvall on the outside coming up really strong
man.
there with Andrew Bolander behind him. Nobody wants a piece of that foolishness. Meanwhile, guess who's got a big smile on their face? That's right, David Cook, who is now a good 4 car lengths ahead of Quesabir.
flag.
Yellow's out.
Trying to chase him down.
Big
There's a caution.
hits. Oh, Hunter Hall save it. Good job, Hunter Hall. Oh, maybe not.
Look at
Well, could have been worse. Someone else
Look
was
at
in
him.
that.
Is he smoking a cigarette driving backwards down pit
So-
road?
Potentially. We've seen it. We've seen that type of activity this year. What happened in front of him? Looks like we got a car loose. It might be the 54 Medina. I can't tell. It's not. Who might? Who was it? Swingle? Someone spun up the track. Who was
There
that?
it was. It just spinny.
Yeah. Was that Tony Iverson? No.
No.
It was not. Of course not, right? I believe it was the 26.
Yeah, Smalley. Smalley had incidents earlier. I wouldn't be surprised.
It was it was a car that a new car, the 28 of
Austin Merrow.
Oh, Mara with a totally new paint scheme, confusing the heck out of me. Another Dale Jr. Scheme. I should have known that. Very loose, just like we saw in the previous incident, Mean Gene.
Oh yeah.
No one's doing but his own. Back up the track he goes. Oh! And that's how Hunter Hall got collected as well. Great job by Hall to gather back up. Not too bad from anyone. So I'm assuming we're going to see Cook in the pits. We are. Cook wanting those tires. Cook did a fantastic job. And you had just brought it up, Mean Gene. He had about a 4 car length lead. That was really, really impressive for his tire situation.
Ooh, and the 12 gave a hard bump to that Interstate Battery car.
Did he? Uh-oh.
Yeah. Just got him in the side, though. I think he'll be okay.
Be nice, Hunter. Be nice. The X-side battery one, you mean?
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Oh, it was during the incident. I'm just watching
Oh,
replays.
okay. Today is not a good day to be in the 27 club. I'll tell you that much.
No, those 20-something guys. But at least they're back. Remember last week, Austin, I think it was Austin, couldn't even get on. He was having computer issues. So good to see him back behind the wheel.
He was. We'd having some weird issues. Me as well, honestly, me and Gene. My race last week, I was having latency issues until about like 3/4 in the race, which is always a blast to have to deal with that on top of stress. But one thing that should also be mentioned, Quesabir has still yet to pit, still staying out. And you said Mata's his teammate, correct? So that likely the reason.
And look at that. Mata is now 5 laps onto those tires, and he's in second behind his teammate.
Yes, he is. And a lot of cars who pit in the previous pit stop, the one before that short run, coming in again. Like I'm seeing guys like
Buddy and Jack.
Yeah, exactly. I'm assuming, I mean, looking at the times, definitely just even more fuel. There is no, we say it every race, there is no stage caution, so I'm not totally sure why you want to top up. Maybe you're already thinking that far ahead.
You know, why not go ahead? I'm sure these guys are not wearing shoes on their rigs. They can count to 20.
Yeah, they can. They can count much higher than we can. Because I do have shoes on right now.
Also, we were talking about connectivity and having funny things happen. Speaking of connectivity, I saw on Reddit, looks like Heat 5 is going to be taken off of digital purchasing.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Not the
so
best
you know
NASCAR
what
game ever.
happens. You know what? And so is Ignition 21.
Oh God, not that masterpiece.
So if those two things are coming off of the platform to purchase, that leads me to believe they're going to be losing their servers as soon as well. So now might be a really good time for folks to think about asking mommy and daddy or honey and, you know, your side chick, maybe it's time for some iRacing.
Yep. I mean, we all know the rumor, not rumors, confirmed, that iRacing working on a console NASCAR game, which will no doubt be better than anything NASCAR's gotten at any time recently. But nonetheless, even
But
when
you'll
that does
never
come out,
go
I'll be
back.
doing that. Yep, I'll be doing this. I'll be playing iRacing regardless on PC with these guys. This is the best version of racing ever.
Yeah, there's no going back. You
No.
know, true story, Zach. I had a wheel for a year, and I raced on on the console, and I was still using the controller because
Yep.
I just felt like I had a better feel, especially on a road course.
We are
Fast
green.
forward, I get the ice racing, and here I go now. I'm not looking back. All right, we're
100%.
back at it. Looks like case of beer. Great start on that outside, but I don't think he's going to try to pull away from his teammate. I think we're going to see that inside row start to make some really good progress really quickly. Jax Duvall, though, he'd like to cut his way through there and start to lead some laps. David Owens also in that top 4.
Duvall really sacrificed his entry there, trying to put a side draft on Mata. Really not the right move. Absolutely kills his exit. And here goes Owens to the bottom. This would be the championship lead for the time being. Duvall really needs to pick and choose who he wants to race. And there's really no reason to put those type of moves on Mata right now. They're racing for 2 different trophies. But there goes Owens to the inside with a little bit of help from the 57 of Garand. That is going to be big for him. That 57 with a really quick recovery. Great job by Garand. Pushing Owens into the corner. Oh, man, that was a deep push. That was a deep push.
Yeah, he stuck it all the way in there. But that's what Owens needs. This track has super speedway capability. And what better time to try to make up some of that time than while your tires are still good. Clean push right there by Garand, and that let him get right ahead of Jax Duvall. Remember, Owens and Duvall often in chat together, but not today. Ooh, buddy Sully's Tokyo drifting that car around that turn. These guys are moving, and David Cook also cutting through traffic after he came in and took 4 tires just 5 laps ago.
Look at this onboard of we are on board with David Cook right now, and this is what happens when you go off strategy and you lose control of the race. You find yourself in the hornet's nest. And look at that speed difference, and look how he's able to go down the corner when no one else could. Everyone else left the corner, the 57 loose in front of him. David Cook is going to pick up, it looks like 3 spots here as he goes 3 wide middle into the corner with the outside of Owens, his championship rival. Cook, I think, will make easy work of this. Garand gets loose. Wow, that was close.
I thought Garand was going to do it. Good driving right there by Garand to let off. Probably had to
Great
hit the
job by
brakes.
Garand.
The way he slowed down right there to not make contact with David Cook. David Cook now finds himself pumped up to 5th place, 4th actually, chasing down Iverson, Jonathan Sabir, Michael Motti, your leader. MC Motorsports putting on a show right now. But remember, Jonathan Sabir, as he loses that position to Tony Iverson, he's 25 laps deep. He has not come in for a pit or tires. He's just seeing how far you can run this thing under race conditions. Yeah, maybe it's an experiment for the rest of his team.
Look how much this strategy is not working out for Buddy Soley. He has pit, I believe, twice. He was part of that first group. I think that's when he took tires, or else he'd be even further back in this field. But those few laps that he had to put on that car, in that meantime, putting him kind of level with the rest of the field, he is not able to make anywhere close to the progress that David Cook has. David Cook is currently in 4th place. Buddy Soley is finding himself outside of the top 10, really without any pace to get through these cars, as he's going to make himself the inside of Duvall here, who I believe has even older tires than he does. Yes, he does 4-lap older tires than Duvall does. But man, Buddy Soley, really that strategy cycle did not work out for him.
No, it did not. So really the attention turns to what can David Owens do out there. David Owens currently running in 8th place. So of all those cars, it looks like David Cook is the one that's putting on the moves. David Owens is in the 2nd best position as far as moderation goes. And then looking back, Sully and Duvall, they've hooked up now. You can see the 84 is leading the 21. So maybe these guys are just going to try to cut through traffic. You got to work together at this point, right? Let's be friends for a little while.
This is a dangerous time in the race for the 21 and the 84. They do need to work together. They cannot afford to lose control of the race right now. They need to get to the next set of pit stops and try to get as level with the 71 of Cook as they possibly can. That 71 is, once again, due to strategy on the catbird seat. It does turn out that as long as really all you have to do is get through the field cleanly, which he did all the way up to third place already. Tony Iverson, who we haven't talked about a lot today, which is weird, in second place there is the only car that I can see besides Bryson Dodson, who's now in fourth, that's on the same strategy as Cook is. So Iverson is going to get Mata in a short amount of time, and then we'll see if Cook even wants or cares to go for Iverson. He may just be content to sit behind him, but it's going to be, nearly impossible for Mata here. But David Cook, once again, in the catbird seat, getting a little bit more life out of that first set of tires than everybody else, and then making great work of the field quickly on that restart.
Yeah, that's something we got to think about is the tire wear. I think this might be where we're going to see one of those longer runs, one of those 20 or 30 lap runs now, and we'll see if Duval can put that downshifting strategy into place. He is only one car behind Buddy Sully, but that's way back now. So Owens 11th, Sully 12th, Duval 14th. Meanwhile, David Cook up in third position. That guy is
about to be
almost
second.
4.5 seconds ahead of those other guys.
Going to be second in a matter of probably one or two corners, Mean Gene, as Tony Iverson made quick work of the 16 on Mata. Mata on pretty old tires, really doing a great job. That 16, if he ends up, if we get a shootout at the end or a 10-lap shootout with everyone on even tires, I like that 16. He is crazy fast, but really not much you can do about the 71. The 13 now is, it looks like Iverson may have not gotten a great run, or, Mean Gene, the draft might just be that strong. The draft here is insane.
Yeah, it pulled him right in there. You're exactly right about that. And look at Owens. He backed Cook. Cook backs off just a little bit so he can get the time it just right. And look at the smoothness. He used that draft to pull himself up at that halfway point. And Mata, being a gentleman, knows it's a championship driver, and he lets him go by. If that thing was for points and not a championship, I guarantee you would have seen Mata get in the way. Instead, Mata pulls off a classic crossover move and takes the position back. Hell of a drive by the 16.
Awesome move by Mata. He saw what Cook did. He backed up the corner to get the run through the backstretch, and he said, all right, that seemed like it worked pretty well for you. And what did Mata do through 3 and 4? Backed it up and got the run on Cook while using the outside to make the track long and not as sharp. Great job by Mata, and that's how you defend on old tires. You can tell that car is sketchy on exit, but Michael Mata's talent making up for it. He is just, I can't say enough about this guy.
And Cook using the draft to put the move on him in the first place to close that gap. But these two guys battling has allowed Iverson to pull away a little bit. You know, Tony Iverson, he was that fifth guy. He was the guy on the outside looking in because of that bad run that he had last week. Just a bad beat getting involved. It seemed like week after week during that playoff run, Tony just was not his year. But hey, you know, a win here at Michigan might make that bitter pill a little bit easier to swallow. But right now, it is the David Cook show. He's running third up there with the leaders. Got a nice 1.5-second gap over that second group. And we got to look all the way back to 11th before we suddenly see Buddy Sully, David Owens. And that's 6 seconds back, and that gap's getting bigger, Zach.
It is getting bigger. The older tire, I mean, that's the same tire run as Cook, apparently, but Sully just cannot do anything with it, as he did make good work of Owens quickly there. So Sully now the second place championship car, but like you said, 6.5 seconds back, all the way back in 11th place. It looks like Cook has now gotten Mata, and now it can set his sights on Tony Iverson, which again, I think Iverson might have been able to save enough tire there to really be able to pull away from Cook, and I don't think Cook's going to be super concerned about that. Tony Iverson doing what he said he'd do last week, which is, even though I'm not racing for a championship, I'm going to come down here and put a beating on the field and show him that I should be here. So far, so good for Iverson. But Cook doing what he needs to do to win this championship. And those guys, we are just now at lap 33. So what Jax Duvall said about the tire situation could not have been any further from the couldn't have been any further from the truth. That was not anywhere near as much time as these guys are comfortable with these tires. You can probably split that in half, it seems like.
Yeah, well, maybe him going down into that fourth gear, so he might know something they don't know, and we're going to learn that over the next 10 laps. As we look, he is 6.5 seconds back, so we'll see if Jax Duvall can start to close that gap from the 13th place. You know, that's who we're keeping an eye on back there, that 84 Goldfish car. He is one of our championship 4, but currently he is the furthest back of everybody. You know, David, we talked about Cook getting by Mata. After he did, Mata let him by and did a quick move to get in his draft and touched him, causing Owens to wiggle, causing Cook to wiggle just a little bit. Cookie got up close to the wall, didn't quite make contact, but you could see a little bit of aggression from Mata there as he's trying to push this thing forward.
Yeah, Mata trying to stretch those tires the best they can, and one of the best ways you can do that is stay in that draft of Cook and use that to make sure you can try to match his straightaway speed and kind of make up for that loss of exit speed that you're going to get with old tires. Man, Mean Gene, I'm not sure if you see what I have on the screen, but the 27 Club, I don't think they're done wrecking yet today. These guys are going so hard.
Those are good friends right there. Austin Merrow and Mason Smalley, they're buddies from elementary school, pretty much known each other that long. So that just means they're used to some good hard racing. Nothing malicious, but when you're that comfortable with another guy, sometimes you get a little bit too close. Speaking of getting too close, look at Cook now using that draft, getting right up on Iverson. Iverson's a pro. He'll wiggle. He'll get you out of his stream and try to give you dirty air at the worst possible moment. So strange to see Cook using the inside when I'm so used to seeing him pass on the outside.
Listen to his shifting. I'm going to crank up the audio pretty loud for Cook here for all you guys. But watch this, Mean Gene. He's going to probably go into 5th, somewhere around here. There it is. Watch how quickly he goes into 4th on entry. Almost immediately. Right there. Look how early that is. Gets that thing to turn, and now he's flat tracking it on the rear tire like we talked about on Zach on Track. He's going to probably get some good exit speed by doing that, and he does. Look how quickly he's closing the gap on Iverson. Here we go again. Never even going into 5th there. 4th gear the whole time, like what Jack's talked about. That's a great run, but he doesn't have the exit he needs to. Listen to those tires scream.
Wow.
Good battle here.
Exit speed by Iverson is going to let him keep that spot. You got to wonder, this isn't really hurting David Cook at all either, because downshifting is going to wear that right rear, and he's already been wearing out the right front. So he's just equaling out the car, even though he's getting closer and closer and running those faster lap speeds. He was the best car on the track last lap, 39.108. So heck of a good run right there.
Yeah, watch out for David Cook. He's looking great, and right on the opposite is David Owens, who is falling down the field quick. Down to 14th now. Man, David Owens, those old tires just really not working out for him. Probably hoping that at the end of the race that he'll have a set that no one else has, and there's a chance that happens and a chance that works out for him. That doesn't make this run any more fun for the 11 of David Owens. But you're right about Cook as well. For me personally, Mean Gene, I'd rather wear the right rear than the front. I really do think it makes the car a little bit, for me, more predictable. It makes it looser instead of tighter. And you can see that right there with the exit of the corner, how loose Cook is. But Cook has shown all season he's comfortable with a loose race car. But yeah, I totally agree with that assessment. I do think that he is fine going early into 4th and really putting a beating on that right rear tire. Because really, we've talked about it a lot too. It's a matter of saving your tires, but also knowing how to drive on old tires. And that's what Cook is showing right now.
Yeah, there's a car we haven't talked about much this year, the 8 of Andrew Bolander, up into 4th place. He's a Wednesday night veteran, Andrew Bolander is. So good to see him with that crossover coming on over. Currently running in 4th. And hey, look at that. Jose Medina, Funky Cold Medina, up in 5th place. Hell of a good run by the 54 Toyota California driver right there. So that's your top 5. Behind him, Bobby Dodson running 6. Brandon Guerin, 7. Joe Volpus, 8. Alex Hillman, 9. And Jonathan Sabir, 10th. After that, we can start to see some of the other playoff drivers. Buddy Sully running in 11, Jax Duvall 13, and David Owens falling back to 14. 8 seconds back now for Zero Chill. This is a strange strategy if he's doing it on purpose there, Zach.
Yeah, not just that. As we see Sabir ducking in the pits, he is just in the middle of all the cluster, you know what. He can't get clean air. He can't save tires right now. He's battling the 84 Duvall, another championship driver. This is a bad situation gone worse for David Owens, but luckily we're not even at the halfway point yet. If there's one thing that I've seen with Owens, I mean, we talked about it already. He's the Thursday champion. Mean Gene, he spent about 70% of that race outside the top 15 with different issues, and he never panicked. He never let it affect the way he drove, and he found himself where he needed to be at the end. So I know David Owens right now is not frustrated in that race car, as he does graze the wall a little bit there. He does hit the wall there. No harm, no
Keeps it
foul that
straight.
time, but like we talked about at other tracks, you can't do that over and over again, and it's not a good sign when you're seeing that happen.
Nope. All right, so Jonathan Casabir, he did come in and pit on lap 40. So right now, that would appear to be the extreme farthest that somebody's going to want to push their ride is 40 laps. Fuel and tires wearing out at lap 40. Duval made a comment about making it to 30, and we're about to see a lot of cars.
And there goes
hit
Cook to the
30. I see-
lead.
Wow, finally. They were side by side for a few laps. Cook wants a Logano championship, not a Blaney championship.
Shut up. Oh, God.
Hey, okay, look, Joey won that race when he won the championship. Oh, Cookie's good doing the Tokyo Drift, and Iverson side by side with him, but that exit speed, that's what we saw Iverson do for those last 5 laps, to use that exit speed. But let me ask you this, when Blaney won his championship, do you remember who won that race?
All I remember is Kyle Larson came in 3rd, but yeah, Mean Gene. I remember who won the race. I mean, you remember who won the race, right? Oh,
Yeah,
wait, yeah.
it was
we had
Ross
them earlier.
Chastain.
Yeah, boo.
But still, you win the race, and people are like, hey, good job, let's go to the champion.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of an awkward burnout situation, too. But, man, it looks like Tony Iverson does not care. He wants the lead back, sends it in deep to Cook. He's got, oh, man, Cook gets loose. Cook up the track. I don't think he knew that Iverson had kind of gathered it up below him. I don't think that was a mistake by Cook. I think that was him not, I mean, he trusts Iverson, but I think a little bit worried about Iverson's entry speed. Panicked a little bit and shot himself up the track. Iverson had gathered it up. He wasn't sliding up the track anymore.
Look, and if I'm Tony Iverson, every driver on this track has reached the find out zone.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Iverson has been abused. He's been hit more than a cue ball on a billiards table this whole playoff run. The guy was first in points going into the last round, the last 3 races. He was first in points going into the Elite 8, and yet every time he was down at the bottom because of just straight foolishness. He's trying to run a strategy. He's trying to run some type of fuel or tire
Here we go.
maintenance, and then he gets whacked. So if I'm of Cookie, I would have got out of the way there. Let's see if this exit speed of the outside lane can compensate.
He's going to choke
for
him
Cook
up.
shooting down.
He doesn't have enough room to clear him, Mean Gene, so he stays in the bottom. Awesome, amazing exit speed from the 71 to have to stay in the bottom like that, but still exit the corner with so much speed. That's so good by David Cook. But you're right. Back to Tony Iverson real quick as we watch this incredible battle play out. He does not care. He is everyone in this track is in the find out zone. It is, if you ask Tony Iverson, he gets so loose out of the corner. Awesome save, but that's going to be all David Cook needs to drive away to the sunset and hopefully away from this group. I'm sure he's sick of battling and just wants to focus on saving now. But yeah, Iverson, if you were to ask him, I think he would tell you the last reason that he isn't racing for a championship is himself. He has been in the worst place at the worst time, race after race in this round of 8, and he there's always got, he called it last week, he said there's always got to be a guy playing the Kyle Larson role, and it is without a doubt the 13 of Tony Iverson right now. And right now what he wants is to show this field, I should be racing for a championship. It's ridiculous that I'm not, and I don't really even care that you guys are. I'm going to come out here and get another win.
Was there any contact or anything, that lead group right there? If you look back to 5th and 6th, Medina and Bobby Dodson, the 5 and the 6 position cars, a little chatter on the radio there between the two of those guys. Maybe they're talking about pitting at the same time since they are in that lead group. Not sure what happened there. Let's keep an eye and see if the 32 and the 54 try to hook up with each other as far as that pit strategy, because drafting is an issue. We saw Cook use the hell out of it to close the gap and make those moves that finally did put him up into the lead. But Iverson staying close with him. Going to be fascinating to see how long these tires last. They're about to put 30 laps on those things.
Yeah, they're about to hit 30 this time around. As there goes Iverson to the inside of Cook. Oh man, David Cook is like, what can I do to make this guy go away? But Tony Iverson doesn't want to.
Tires, right?
No, they're even.
Look at that.
They're even.
4.7. 4.7.
Oh, you're right.
Though,
You're right.
versus
You're right.
15.6.
You are right. I think Iverson may have just topped off on fuel while Cook put tires on. 100% right about that, me and Gene. But Iverson just doing a hell of a job to stay there with Cook. And also, I mean, like, one guy that we know for sure is on older tires than both of them is Michael Mata, and he's still right there as he's going to poke to the inside of Iverson right here.
Yeah, Michael Mata, though, guaranteed speedster
What
on
a
these
send.
super speedways. Wow, let's see that outside lane, though. Look at that momentum. So whoever's on that outside has that momentum, and luckily these guys downshifting, that right front not dying as quickly, and they're not just trucking up the track, taking people out. But pit stops now becoming an issue. Jax Duvall, Brandon Guerin into the pits as well. Jonathan K-Severe, Richard Swingle, all four of those cars to lap down. Other guys 30 or 34 laps into this run. We saw K-Severe go 40, so I expect we're going to start seeing some pit stops coming very soon, unless they're already counting backwards. And I'm wearing shoes, so I'm not going to count past 10, Zach.
Let me show you something really quick here, Mean Gene. This was interesting to me, and we're going to see this on the longer runs. So watch this. This is a replay here. This is Michael Mata to the inside of Tony Iverson. And so Iverson making sure that Mata has to enter the corner as low as possible. And look what that does. Mata does a great job through this corner, but watch how much that stalls out his run and just completely kills it. So now the 8 sees that same thing, but Mata does a great job of covering the top and saying, if you want to pass me, you have to do the inside. And the 8 of Bolander says, no, you know what? I just saw what happened on the bottom. I'm just going to give you a little boop to the back and give you a nice little push because I have no interest in taking that bottom line. That is fascinating to me, Mean Gene, and that is what can really help these older tire cars defend against newer tires as the 13 looks at the 71 again on the inside. Here we go again.
These guys just ain't going to give it up. You are not escaping. And now it's tightened up. There's a fourth car in that mess now. Bolander as well. But look at Iverson. He gets side by side. Goes down hard.
Big
Let's
send.
watch that exit speed, though, of Cook, though.
He clears them, so he's going to try the slide job. What's Cook going to want to do? Cook right behind him. Iverson, oh my gosh, that was incredible by Iverson. He didn't slide up the wall. Cook's going to try the inside. So this is what we saw. I just talked about this. This is what we saw the Bolander not want to do. Will this kill Cook's run? He needs to enter higher. Oh, I don't like what this is going to look like for Cook on an exit. Mean Gene, I think he entered way too low. I could be wrong, and David Cook has proven how good of a driver he is. Let's see what happens here. He does the slide job, and he completes it. He made a straight line out of that corner.
Wow, I cannot believe how he held that going through that turn, and then he just came up right at the perfect moment. Iverson going to cut down low right now, but that speed of Cook, he found the lane. That is the preferred lane. We saw that earlier when you did Zach on track. Starting high, coming down to the middle, and then finishing high, and that's what David Cook just did. And now he's got that nice lead, and you can see the top 3 cars spreading out as Bolander and Medina fade away just a little bit. Still a hell of a good run. Medina part of this first group with a whole second lead over the next driver of Bobby Dodson now. And then you're going to look at a 6-second fall off to that second group of Hilbin Volpus 7-8, and then all the way back to 9 and 10 seconds back of the leader. Wow.
That is not good. And we are on board with Iverson now. Mean Gene, look how straight
Iverson
that
again.
wheel is. He's all on the right tire. He's sliding up the track. Let's see how close this is going to be on exit. Not quite there. Oh, man, that's loose. Man, that's what's Cook in the wall. Cook hits the wall on exit, but Iverson was loose.
Mata coming down. Mata pitting.
Mata into the pits, so Mata has seen enough. Look how straight he keeps this wheel, though, Mean Gene, using all the rear tire. So right about now, he's going to probably throttle it up and try to straighten out the wheel, but that thing just, yeah, wow, he's so loose. This is so good. This is so fun to watch. Two guys giving it everything.
Did you see him turn that, how far he had to turn it to the right?
Oh, for that correction, yeah, and man, 1 centimeter too far, and that thing was snapping back the other way.
Meanwhile, Case of Beer catching up with Medina.
And here comes Cook.
Newer tires. Yep, Cookie finally got it down.
Oh, man, that was not the best entrance. He did get it.
He got it.
I think it was a little bit early as well, Mean Gene. I mean, the trucks are different than next gens. In a truck, you would have started checking up quite a bit later than that. But
yeah, he did good.
That's David Cook, so I'm not going to get out of him.
I saw the tires slide a little bit. You know, as long as he didn't speed, I think he's good to go.
I think he should be good. I've actually meant early as in, like, I think in the early end it was a little bit too slow, and then he may have been overcompensating by speeding up at the end. But who knows? We'll see as he blends back out. Honestly, Mean Gene, he had the delta to mess with that, so much better to be conservative than to be aggressive when you have, what, 10 seconds on the guy you actually have to be worried about?
Well, I'm familiar with overcompensating, and I don't think he did it there. I think he's fine. Yeah. Tony Iverson now coming into the pit, and he's going to bring Jose Medina with him.
As Bolander will stay out to lead a lap.
Hey, that point doesn't matter, but let's get a point anyway. Andrew Bolander going to lead a lap. Good for you. In the number 8 Ford.
It's that coffee cooler talk like you talk about it. It is a big accomplishment to lead a lap in this series.
Yeah. I remember when I was in the lead with a I was in first with a 5-second lead. Yeah.
Oh, good times. Good times.
Good times. And he's chasing down Bobby Dotson up there. Bobby needs to get moving.
So there's the blend,
A lot
Mean
of
Gene.
action up there.
There's a blend with David Cook and Mata. In my opinion, Mata should have undercut him with that extra time on track. So I was dead wrong about Cook's entry into the pits. It was clearly crisp, and he did what he had to do.
Yeah, I'm a pro about overcompensating, and I didn't see any there. Look at look who's coming out to meet him.
Iverson, and that's what an extra lap on the track will do for you. Not too bad, and he does get on the tail end of that a little bit fresher tires, but man, that delta was probably at least a second and a half.
The case of beer didn't block Cookie at all. I figured he'd have a little bit of blocking.
Class act, the case
just
of
to
beer.
give his buddy Mata a chance to get back up in there.
So now,
Iverson moving like a bullet right there. He's got to catch that lead group.
he's got to be patient as well, though, me and Gene. He's got to really use that tire advantage to his, advantage. We got 43 to go, so probably one more pit stop, and it's going to be really, really important to do that at the right time. Are you going to want it? Where are you going to want the advantage? In the beginning of the run, the tail end of the run? If you take the beginning, you can find yourself a lap down. This is make it or break it time if we stay green.
Well, these guys are starting to spread apart, so the odds of a caution, I'm going to give him the broadcaster jinx. The odds of the caution are much more narrow.
Oh, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened to Tony Iverson? Why is he pitting again?
Oh, no. Did he get a little penalty?
Oh, no. Let's see. Let's stay with him real quick. If he just drives through, that's going to answer our question. Oh, gosh. Look at read a book called 100 Ways to Lose a Race by Tony Iverson. This guy is so good. And, man, I think we've just seen everything under the sun cost him a win this year. And that was a drive-through, which means that was likely a speeding penalty. Not going to put him a lap down, but crippling without a caution nonetheless.
Yeah, and remember, there is no stage break here, so he is going to need to either drive his way back into this thing, not likely against David Cook, or he's going to need a caution to bunch everybody back up. Right now, there are 18 cars on the lead lap. Tony Iverson is being shown as a lap down. That is unfortunate, and on those older tires, it's going to be awful tough for him to find his way back up there. Right now, Joe Volp is being shown as your leader. He's 41 laps into it, and Joe's going to bring it on down. But, hey, got to lead a lap. It just feels good.
It does, and I do think Iverson will get that lap back here. I mean, Gene, he is a lap down to guys like Hillman, Volpis, who have stayed out. I don't think he's a lap down to guys like Cook, Mata, the ones he's really racing. I think he's going to be okay. But he needs a caution to have any chance of winning this race. As you see, David Owens exiting the pits now. He's also going to find himself a lap down, but he'll get that one back. But David Owens really trying to stretch that set of tires, maybe thinking potentially he can go 40 laps here. I don't know why else you'd stretch it so far, but nonetheless, Owens on his first lap back on the track.
40 is the number. We saw Case the Beard do it.
So that could be it. That could be Owens
But
this time.
He had two cautions to help him.
Right, and that is a big deal. You save a lot of fuel under caution, so that, oh man, if you're Owens, you kind of got to commit to it earlier, or sooner rather than later, in terms of clutching, saving that fuel if he's going to try to stretch it that far. So we'll keep our eye on that for sure.
Yeah, and right now David Cook has let the whole field know you're not going to beat me on speed.
So right.
You're not going to beat me on speed. You better figure out another way to do it. And that plays more into the playbook of a Jax Duvall. Duvall, remember we were saying what's he doing? He's way in the back. Oh no. Jax Duvall, now Florida man, running in 6th place, and he's on that very similar strategy. 14 laps on those tires. So he definitely is targeting one more pit stop, but still working his way up into 6th right now, Jax Duvall.
3 wide.
Happy considering the way things were going. And speaking of
not
Jax
happy about
Duvall,
this.
He's 3 wide with Jose Medina.
Oh man.
Case of beer.
Medina back up the track, almost into Duvall. Duvall shoots up the track. He's clear of the 6, so he should be okay. Still has the 54 Medina to worry about. He still has to clear the... Oh, wow. That was so close by Duvall. I love his strategy. Mean Gene, he actually is on a strategy independent to him. He's the only one besides Brandon Guerin, so not independent to him in terms of the champions, on that strategy. But he's got to keep the car clean if he wants it to work. And, man, he is in a hornet's nest right now.
Yeah, lots of danger
right
going
behind
on
him.
right there, back there. Wow.
Look at this behind him. You got Dodson, Case of Beer, and the 57 of Guerin battling hard. all different tire strategies, all different exit and closing speeds and entry speeds. Makes this that much more interesting. This is intense.
He got Motorsports right on him. But meanwhile, all that foolishness, losing Tony Iverson to that drive-through penalty. David Cook now with that 4.5-second lead over Michael Mata. Jose Medina still laying down his best run of the year. 3rd place now. Andrew Bolander 4th, Jax Duvall 5th, but Jax Duvall 4.9, almost 5 seconds behind David Cook, and more importantly, he's on 7-lap older tires. So I hope Duvall's got an ace in his sleeve, because he's going to have to pull out something special, because this looks like the same David Cook we have watched check in, check out, and take those dubs all year long, Zach.
Yeah, it does. And beyond that, yellow's out, Mean Gene. Oh, it's David Owens. It's David Owens. And as always, he keeps the car clean, but nonetheless, it's David Owens.
Wow.
What happened here? He's just going to get loose out of 4, isn't he? Whoa. Oh, looks like Brower got loose. David Owens just not with enough time to anticipate it and sends it around. Let's ride on board with David, and I almost can guarantee you that's what we're going to see happen here. Keep your eye on the 9 in front of him, Mean Gene, and watch that 9, I think, overshoot the corner, check up on exit, and spook David Owens. So here we go. All so far so good. 9's loose, up the corner, up the track. That dirty air upsets Owens' car.
Code, you never know.
And he didn't hit anything, though.
Wow.
And true Owens fashion.
The field celebrates. The field celebrates.
Mm-hmm.
As they reel in David Cook. David Cook had the best pit stop I have ever seen. I mean, that guy came down, slammed the brakes, came in right at that perfect speed, in and out, right back up to pit speed.
Oh, now you're
just pulled away.
Now you're calling it the greatest ever. Just kidding.
It is. This is
Hey,
the best one I've seen.
Shout out 2nd place, Jose Medina, too. Awesome drive by the 54. I'll be right back, Mean Gene.
Yeah.
And keep us updated.
Everybody coming into the pits. Look at that. Everybody taking this opportunity. So everybody pretty much should be on the same pit strategy. We're going to keep an eye on exactly who takes just right sides, who takes both, all 4, and who takes none, because I'm sure there's going to be some cars with different strategies. I'm going to keep an eye. Oh, the 71 went a little too far. He had to back up, so that's going to cost him. That's what he gets for me saying he had one of the best stops I've ever seen. David Cook takes right and left side tires. So, going to come out later. A lot of people choosing to take right side only, and that is going to push Cook a little bit further back in the field. So, as far as the championship drivers go, David Cook, 14-second pit stop. He did take 4. Jax Duvall, 14-second pit stop. He did take 4. Buddy Sully, a 4.7-second pit stop. So Buddy either taking right sides or just fuel. So Buddy is reaching for the fence. And then David Owens, he is now in the pit after his incident, trying to play catch up. He is coming around the track very slowly. Keeping an eye on David Owens right now. Something appears to be going on with the car of David Owens, that number 11 Ford, being shown in 20th place, way back, coming out now of the pits. Hopefully he was just trying to make up the gap that he lost after that spin move, which did bring out our most recent caution. So David Owens is going to be shown as the last driver on the lead lap. All 20 cars being shown on the lead lap, so we still got some wide open racing.
You jinxed David Owens, didn't you? I mean, you jinxed Cook, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, well, Cook actually drove past his pit and had to back up a little bit. He chose to take 4 tires, and if you look, the next 8 guys all took right sides only. But Duvall took 4.
Hall took none. Hall stayed out.
Yeah, Hall just stayed out. But as far as the championship drivers go, Buddy Sully took right side only. Cook and Duvall took 4. And then David Owens, he came in and just did another little splashy poo.
You know, every championship driver right now is so annoyed with everyone who took 2, but they have every right to do it. But man, so what I'm most curious about here me and Gene, is who has a set of tires left and who doesn't. Because I think we're going to have, what, 30 to go, 35 to go, 33 to go when we go green. If we were to get
It's
a
either
caution
gonna be
with like 15 to go, having a
long
set of
push.
tires would win you that race.
Mhm. Yep.
So that's, even someone like Hunter Hall, he's going to have a set. It's, I mean, this is going to be crazy, me and Gene. I don't think we're going to get through this clean.
No. Oh, there's no way. We've seen, you know, Hunter Hall. He had the oopsies just last week, spinning himself a lot. He's had a pretty good run today, though. This is a different kind of track. All right, so pace car is off. Hunter Hall in the 12. He will be your control car in the Geico restart zone. He gets off clean. He's trying to pull the 8 of Andrew Bolander with him. Bolander side by side with Michael Mata in that second row. Mason Smalley blinking. He is in the third row by himself. Brandon Garrett and Joe Volpis up there as well. 3 wide. Michael Mata going around the outside of Hunter. And down below, you can see Andrew Bolander. Then it's Bolander and Mata. A lot of foolishness deeper in the pack, though. Look at that 3 wide. Jose Medina, Bobby Dodson, Jax Duvall. And blinking still. That is a scary blink.
Oh, my gosh.
That we're seeing.
So much blinking. Two of the
Are you
cars.
watching the blink?
Hunter Hall over it, into the wall, goes Hall. Yeah, I'm seeing the blinking everywhere. The 2 of the 20s cars blinking. Case of beer into the 25. That's going to be a big wreck and cautions out. Hunter Hall
Lewis
just,
has been,
904.
Swindle, Hillman.
Mm-hmm.
There's Jack Sanders. I don't think any of the championship guys were in that one.
Hunter Hall just did not have the pace to stay out there.
I'm going to do a short run myself, and this short run is brought to you by Miller Lite.
Yeah, mine was brought to you by Monte's IPA. But yeah, Hunter Hall right there, just with a little bit of trouble. I mean, a lot of bit of trouble, for being honest, keeping any sort of pace with those 14-lap older tires than the rest of the field. He had it pinned up against the wall. We'll take a look at it right now. And I believe this is where the whole incident started. So let's keep our eye on the 12 here. Pinned up against the wall. And yeah, the 6 case of beer there, just not with a ton of room. Trying to get you guys a better look at this. So for him, you see Hall there on the top, and this is essentially 4-5 wide. The room just isn't there. Case of beer slides up into Marrow there. And from that point, it's on. Down the track he goes in the 25 of Sanders. Our defending champion, Sanders, just not having the season that he was hoping for. And then Swingle in the 97 with nowhere he can go. Hillman does his best to try to avoid it. Tags the 88 of Lewis. Just unfortunate for so many drivers there, as Swingle there with tons of damage into Hillman. Likely the end of Hillman's day. Someone we saw in an earlier incident definitely used that fast repair. So I'm assuming that car and probably the 88 of Lewis could be too damaged to continue. A big wreck, and we anticipate that happening with all the different strategies there.
Ooh, why are you showing Louis? Look at that.
Yeah, he got tagged by Hillman at the end of that one. Not what he needed, but that was what this 11 of Owens needed. Me and Gene now finds himself in 14th. Got himself 6 spots with that tomfoolery in front of him.
Yeah, he did come in for that little splash, keeping him in the back. Makes me
again.
wonder, though. Yeah, he keeps splashing it. Definitely not going to take tires, but it makes me wonder. I didn't see if he took 2, 4, or 0 2 stops ago when he did his initial pit stop on that caution, the previous caution.
He had
Because
just
then he came in
rejoined.
quickly.
So I'm assuming none because he had just rejoined. It was a 24-second stop the last time he was in there. Not sure what he was doing there, but I think Owens's tires are actually probably closer to the older side, being Gene, because I mean it would be crazy for him. That spin that he had probably came 2 or 3 laps after he had pit under green. No reason to get rid of those tires, even if you slid them across the infield.
Especially with strategy, like you said. All of a sudden, we're back in caution land. And if you can get even right sides with a 10 or a 15 lap run, that could be a difference between victory and defeat.
Exactly. So biggest thing I think besides Owens, or probably even bigger than Owens, is look how many spots that David Cook got in that short amount of time. He is the first car on 4 tires, and now he is all the way up to 3rd place. It probably won't take him long to have that lead. The car closest to him with 4 tires is the 54 Medina. Not someone he really has to worry about. And then Duvall, a championship contender at 9th. But we know David Cook, he can probably spread out a pretty nice lead before those other 4 tire cars are even able to get close to him.
Well, we're going to find out because Jax Duvall has made a living at jumping up spots, pushing his way through there, and he right now is in a good position to do it. I'll tell you, Buddy Sully, you know, he might be on that two-tire strategy, but still up in fifth. It's only going to take a few laps for all these tires to be on equal footing. We're already, you know, five hot laps into this thing. You run 4 more hot laps and 2 tires, 4 tires. It's going to be about the same.
That's an amazing point, and we kind of brought that up at Richmond last week. This is a track where, and we saw it with Mata earlier, it does even out. It's a good point.
Because you know Cook was pushing hard to get where he is.
Good point, too. Like, definitely on that restart.
Sully's right behind him now. Look at that.
I mean, Sully was in front of him before that. Sully is a two-tire car, so keep your eye on that 21, that 71 as we go green here, Mean Gene, because if Sully wants to make life difficult for Cook, he's got to do it quick.
All right, pace car is off. Michael Mata in that 16 teal car is your control car. Andrew Bolander on the outside.
Green flag, green flag.
And he starts relatively quickly at that 1/3 mark. Gets a great jump. Takes it to the outside. Michael Mata is your leader. Andrew Bolander getting pushed by Mason Smalley on the outside. David Cook on the inside has no help. Buddy Sully, though, starts to close the gap. Joe Volpes, Jose Medina, Kevin Brower, Jax Duvall, Tony Iverson. That's your top 10.
Such intense racing through 1 and 2 on these restarts. The tires are cold, but you know you got to go for it. This is the best time to get spots. As there you go, Sully to the inside. Jax Duvall making quick work, trying to get the inside of Medina, taking them 3 wide with Brower on the outside. Really aggressive move by Jax. He can't make it stick. Jax is loose. Can Jax save it? He does, but look at all this lost track position for the 84. That was a brutal moment for Jax. He had to go for it, but he paid the price.
Yeah, very unfortunate there. Jax Duvall goes straight backwards. That's going to let David Owens get in front of him. Right now, though, we're watching David Cook pushed his way up into second. He's got a car between him and Buddy
Look at
Sully.
Iverson.
Tony Iverson making contact back there with the 07 of Volpes, and that's going to let Bobby Dodson go down on the bottom and try to pass 5 cars. He's going to bring David Owens with him.
Owens again.
Owens trying to make it happen.
Owens is just going for it right now. 3 wide in front of him. He's putting all the trust and belief in guys like Iverson, Smalley, Dodson. This is so crazy for Owens to do this, but he's going to go for it. We might even see a 4 wide. What does Owens want to do? He's side by side with Medina. He has so much to worry about. Smalley is getting caught up by Iverson and Dodson. Here we go. Oh, man, Owens.
States is lost. He can't wait. He's got to go now.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. You can't lose these spaces. If he was to check up right now, he'd lose 4 or 5 spaces. Him and Medina make contact on exit. It is so tight down the backstretch.
Man, Medina has just grown so much as a driver. Those early contacts rattled Medina. We saw Medina in some early wrecks at the beginning of the season. Now, though, he just takes a bump at 175 miles an hour and just keeps it going straight. Jose Medina.
Oh, Medina around, though. Medina around. Medina around. And it looked like that was into Garand, I believe.
Yeah, they got touched.
Oh, man. Big hits there. Big hits as Medina into the wall. Hard. That was intense racing. He was, and that's horrible to see that happen for Medina. Such a shame. Garand as well. That's definitely going to be the end of Garand's day, or at least any chance he had to be competitive in this race, as we know he's used his fast repair with that brutal hit he experienced earlier. But wow, that was some aggressive driving, some aggressive racing, and it looked like it was just a matter of another corner exit where just so much is coming together at once, Meiji. And let's look from this angle.
Yeah, it looks like the 54 just got tight.
Yeah, look at that already. He is flying up the track. There's essentially no hope of making the corner at that point. Wow, he tried his best. He chose getting loose instead of the wall and just wasn't able to regather it. Garand is a victim. Oh, is this going to be what I think it is? Oh, he just barely misses.
Oh,
barely misses. I do think they'll probably excuse that penalty for him, as it wasn't his fault. But that's the least of his worries, right?
Yeah, Brandon Garand got his black flag cleared. We're just going to see. We're just going to have to see how much of that car he has remaining. Right now, pits are open.
Yeah,
we
they
can
are.
see plenty of cars in the back coming
Not
in.
Cook, though. Not Cook. Not Volpes. Smalley. Owens. Dodson. Case of beer. Volpes. It looks like Sully is in the pits. He is. What's he going to do here, Mean Gene? This is huge.
Now, look. This is the moment that the president was talking about. David Owens staying out. This is the moment when he said you got to pit and get them tires later in the race.
That's 4.
So, Is it Owens? Is it David Cook right now, knowing there won't be another caution, or David Cook assuming there will be a caution and he's saving that extra set of tires? Because I mean, he's 11 laps into this run with that 14-second pit stop.
How many sets do they get? They get 3 in the pits, right?
Yes.
He may be out. I think Sully may have had a set they don't have.
That could be big, depending on how quickly he cuts through traffic.
That's the championship, if that's the case, in my opinion. And if the latter, or what your scenario is what's happening, it's a gamble, but I guess David Cook's mentality here would be, by the time he gets to me, it will be like we talked about a little bit ago, balanced out enough to where I can hold him off. And if we do get that caution, he is absolutely screwed. And yeah, if Cook, Owens, and Duvall have a set in the pits, and we get a caution in 10 laps, there's no chance that Buddy Sully wins the championship beyond something insane happening to other 3 drivers in terms of damage. That's how big tires are here. And if they don't have a set waiting for them in the pits, all Buddy Sully has to do is get through the field clean. If we don't go yellow again, Buddy Sully, I think, will win this championship. I'm hearing cars like lose their engines. Are you hearing that?
A lot of loud screaming going on, especially once they started sliding.
Yeah. So David Cook is going to inherit the lead here, which is really big for him. He's got Volpus to his outside, an extremely respectful driver, but a teammate of David Owens nonetheless. But Volpus, if there's one thing we know about him, is that he's as clean as they come. But he's got a lot of aggressive drivers behind him. They're all in the same tire situation as him. No, they're not. I'm sorry. Volpus has 2. Smalley has 2. We don't know Owens' situation, and Dodson has 4. And Volpus,
so the big question is strategy. We're looking at the strategy now. How is this going to affect people? David Owens is up there, though, on theoretically the same amount of tires wear as Cook, depending on when he came in and took it.
Mm-hmm.
David Cook is my boy. I have faith he made the right move, a huge move to win this race and chip.
He could be wrong for the first time this season. Because his first assessment was spot on.
Yep. We'll see. He's taking a leap of faith. Who knows what's going to happen?
Oh, I'm so excited for this.
I tell you what, they're gearing back up. We are at lap 77 of 100. The pace car is moving out of the way. David Cook on the inside. He is your control car. Joe Volpus on that front row with him. Mason Smalley, David Owens, row 2. Bobby Dodson, Jonathan Casebeer, row 3. Here's the jump. Not as big as the jump as we are used to seeing. David Cook, maybe he's keeping it tight on purpose or saving some tire, making sure he didn't spin. Cook will be your leader. He's got a 2-car lead. Owens, Joe Volpus on the outside second. Look how high Owens is up on that rail, trying to get that exit speed and maybe get past Mason Smalley. But right now, it's David Cook with a 4-car lead over Joe Volpus. Then David Owens pushes his way up into 3rd.
Look at this,
You might wonder where the other drivers are. Look at Case of Beer getting by Smalley.
4 wide here with.
Wide.
Oh man. 2 of our championship drivers in it, and they make contact. Looks like Duvall. Oh man, Sully into the wall. Sully tags the wall. Contact with Duvall, another championship driver. I don't know what exactly happened there between that reaction from Duvall, but nonetheless, that's Sully into the wall. He's not going to be happy about that. Duvall carries on. That was an unbelievably intense moment. They were 4 wide.
If I'm Jax Duvall, that's 1 down, 2 to go. And we can see Duvall needs to start cutting through this traffic. He's by Sully. Doesn't need to worry about that guy anymore. He just needs to keep pushing forward. 20 laps remaining. David Cook is your leader. Joe Volpus chasing him down. David Owens behind him. They've got the same amount of tires to the best of my recollection. Jonathan Casebeer, Bobby Dodson behind them. Mason Smalley. Here comes Michael Mata. So MC Motorsports is in 4th, 5th, and 6th. You know they're going to rattle some cages here toward the end. And now here comes Jax Duvall. He's running on a rail 8th, trying to get by Mason Smalley to get into 7th. He's got to make that move quick, Zach, or this lead group is going to leave him behind.
Everyone in our championship 4 is in a huge moment of their race right now. Cook has to hold in that lead for as long as he can. Owens is right there. He can make a move if the timing happens right, and there goes his teammate to the inside. Watch for Owens and this exit speed he's going to have here. He's going to try to get Cook here. And look at Dodson right behind him. There's contact with Dodson in the 16. Oh my gosh! There goes Volpus into the wall. Oh my gosh.
No caution. He keeps it straight.
And now it's just Cook and Owens, two of our championship contenders, two people racing for a championship. Cook able to keep his momentum going. Duvall only 3 cars behind them. This is still so far from over, as Buddy Sully is only in 13th, trying to make quick work of the group. He has the freshest tires still, and he's making it work fast.
Yeah, but he's stuck back there in that position with Alex Hillman and Andrew Bolander. Meanwhile, up front, it's David Owens. He's trying to get underneath and start to mess it up, but Cook giving him that dirty air. Who's the real David here today? But Bobby Dodson coming into this thing. Bobby Dodson, he's won before in Michigan. MC Motorsports 3, 4, and 5. Championship contenders 1 and 2. Look at the draft working. Michael Mata going down low. Can he fight that outside lane? Look at that super speedway-esque draft on that outside, Zach.
Draft is huge. It's so big, and Owens is trying to get all the help he can from the cars behind him, but he lost his biggest helper, which is Joe Volpis. Cook made quick work of him. I don't know if he sent him up into the wall or what it was, but made sure he was not going to be there to help him out. As it's just between these two drivers now, as you can see, Owens trying to go wider around the corner, focused on his exit speed, trying to get a run. I don't know if he's going to want the outside, the inside if he does get that run, but Cook is doing a masterful job of defending, controlling the air, going down to the bottom on the straightaways to not give Owens the draft, doing everything he can to keep the 11 behind him.
Championship driver David Cook is in the lead. David Owens right behind him. But look who's made their way into the top 5. It's Tony Iverson. Tony Iverson made his way past Duvall. Side by side with Jonathan Quesabir for 5th place. That's going to let Duvall close the gap. Duvall in the lead group now. 3 of your 4 championship drivers in the lead group. Jax Duvall, Mr. Strategy, has to now rely on speed and draft to cut through there. Owens and Cook side by side. The 32 of Bobby Dodson might help decide this thing, as he's choosing to push David Owens to the lead.
The 32 gives the 11 the push he needed, sends the 11 of Owens hard in the corner. Owens going to slide up, try to do the slide job and get in front of Owens and have enough momentum down the backstretch to keep it, as they're 4 wide behind him. Quesabir, Mata, Iverson, and Dodson are 4 wide right behind them, as the 2 championship drivers race for a chance at a championship and for the lead to control this race. Cook and Owens side by side. Owens puts the squeeze on him. How are they going to come out of 4? It's so close. Iverson's going to complete the pass for 3rd. He'll probably be in the mix as we get to the 1 and 2.
Well, right now you can see Bobby Dodson chose to let off when they went 4 wide. He did not want any part of this. But right now, side by side, just 15 laps to go. Owens on the outside, he's got that momentum. Inside, David Cook, he's made that inside work all day, but he's 20 laps into it on these tires side by side. And there is now Jax Duvall making his way into 5th. He's in striking distance. MC Motorsports versus the championship drivers. Look at that run on the outside by Duvall. If he can hold that speed, he'll be in it. But they're 4 wide on the inside now with Jack Sanders.
Sanders loose.
Losing control.
Sanders loose. Dodson almost into the 13. Oh, man, this is so crazy. And the more they battle up front with those 2 cars, the 7 and the 11, the more this field gets more and more compact. Look how big this has gotten. Not only is Duvall part of this now, only in 5th place, 2 cars back on the outside, but the rest of the field is catching them. This group is nearly 10 cars, and it only gets crazier and crazier. It won't be long until there's 3 wide moves for the lead. Someone needs to figure this out, but nowhere the 71 or the 11 want to give anything to the other person, as now Mata with the freshest tires catches all of them, and he's going to try to make a move. Owens to the inside. He's not clear. Will he try the slide job?
He's got to do it, but it might be too soon. 14 laps to go. David Owens, you can see the momentum of David Cook on the outside as he's going to go back by the 11. David Cook is going to take the lead and make it over the start-finish line before Owens does. Michael Mata, Jonathan Quesabir, 3 and 4. Those are the 2 guys pushing. Here comes Iverson on the inside to make it 3 wide. He's going to lose momentum, though. Slide up the track. It's now Duvall, Quesabir, Owens, and Iverson, 3 wide. But look at the front again. It's Cook down to the inside of Owens. Can Owens keep that momentum on that outside lane? 13 laps to go.
This is unbelievable. It's like they're paid to race well, like so clean, so good, so good. All the stakes are so high. All these guys are racing so hard, but so respectful. Quesabir is having a hard time holding the bottom right now. You're seeing that kind of stall at the field behind him. There goes Mata pushing Owens again to the outside. Owens will have a run, but can he make it stick? Cook is going to send it as hard as he can. These guys will not give anything. This is some of the best racing I've genuinely ever seen. And Jack's just desperate for one slip up from these leaders, ready to strike, and don't count out Buddy Sully. Like we're talking about, this field is not going as fast as they should do with all this battling. He's only 2 seconds back. This is only going to get more intense.
Yeah, Buddy Sully, right now, he has got to try to figure out how to close this gap. 12 laps remaining. Jax Duvall riding that outside, trying to save some tires. Meanwhile, Cook, Owens just battling it out, and it just seems like the 16 of Mata taking turns, pushing each of them to the front.
No favoritism here from Mata as he gave Owens the push last lap and Cook this time. And there goes Cook, and that push, look how big that was, Mean Gene. Enough to push Cook in front of Owens and complete the pass. He's going to try to, cut off Owens' line, make sure that Owens can't do anything that he wants to. I mean, Mata would have loved some help there, but man, this is for a championship. Let's see if Owens is to the inside. He does, and they're so close.
Nah, dirty air. He's not going to make that move. The same thing just happened to Tony Iverson in that group. 9 cars in that lead group now, trying to make it work. Mata looking to the bottom. It looks like it's his turn to push Owens this time as they come across that
he chooses
start-finish
Cook.
line.
He pushes Cook.
Instead, that was a hard push. Look at Cook. He needs control, and he does. He has to let off. That costs him some speed, and that is going to let Owens start to push away.
This will be a bad exit from Owens. This will be a bad exit from Owens. Owens completely botched the middle of the corner, Mean Gene. That's why you saw him slide up so badly, and that is the price you pay. That was going to be, you could tell that was going to be a bad exit from Owens. That was a good opportunity with that push that Cook got that seemed to kind of get him out of sorts in a way. Look at the squeeze by 11 of Owens. Gosh, this is intense. Dotson loose.
Duval taps the wall. Ooh, this thing is just insane. I can't get enough Miller Lite into my throat and talk at the same time. Now it's Tony Iverson making a move right there. Jax Duvall, high speed coming in, case of beer. Now Jack Sanders is pulling his nose up under case of beer. That's nerve-wracking for Duvall, who's on the outside of those 2 cars. But right now, Mata pushing Owens. Owens right behind Cook. Tony Iverson on the inside. All 3 cars now looking below.
Goodness, contact.
Contact.
And contact between the 2 championship contenders. Owens and Cook touch right after Iverson and Mata get together. That was just a lot of runs coming together at one time. And I was going to say this, Mean Gene. Oh, man, that was close too. How long until Mata takes them 3 wide?
And then Iverson lost a ton of speed. Jax Duvall hit him in the rear very hard, slowing down Duvall's run. And now Iverson moving. I think Duvall might actually have taken a little bit of damage. That thing was so hard. Iverson, he's driving angry, needing to prove himself to himself. A chip as big as the state of Alaska. David Cook right now, though, 8 laps to go. They're 27 laps into it on these tires. They're going to start getting really loose. And look at Iverson on the inside.
Sends it to the bottom. 3 wide. Iverson sends it to the bottom, and Owens by far gets the worst of that. Into the wall Owens goes. That's going to be a huge momentum killer. Iverson being ultra aggressive right now, as is Mata. Mata wants this win. He doesn't care about the championship, nor does Iverson. These guys are giving it everything, and here we go. 3 wide. Iverson with the bottom. Mata's drifting on the track nearly into Cook. Sanders will have a chance at this. Mata's down the middle. They're going to be 3 wide on an exit. Oh my gosh, Iverson exits to the lead.
Oh, Iverson takes the lead. Sanders came up the track just a little bit, and he touched
Huge
Mata.
block.
Came into Cook. And look at now Owens, Iverson blocking Cook. Cook is in second, but now Owens is underneath him. If he can get a run, Michael Mata on the outside gets shut down by David Cook. Cook falls behind Iverson, and now Owens is down on the bottom by himself. Here comes Andrew Bolander into the picture. Andrew Bolander now going to try to push Owens. Down comes Iverson to block for the lead, and it's Cook and Iverson side by side. Mata and Owens in the second row side by side. Jack Sanders, case of beer, and Andrew Bolander 3 wide behind that.
Cook needs to decide here what he wants to race for. He needs to be raced for the championship, not the win. I know it's easier said than done, but look how quick Owens got back to them. It looked like all hope was lost there for Owens after that wall hit, and just like that, he's back in 3rd place, right behind Cook. Cook needs to be careful here. He needs to prioritize what is going to get him the championship, not just this trophy. Iverson is racing so hard, and look at Owens. He's going to help out Iverson the best they can. He doesn't care if Iverson wins. He just needs to beat the 71 of Cook. Man, this is crazy.
Big push. Big push right there. Owens pushes Iverson far ahead. Mata now has to make his decision as he's side by side with Owens for 3rd place. David Cook in 2nd. He'd be happy there, but Owens is going to bring it back in as hard as he can. You want to say, I'm just racing for the ship, but you got to race for the win, and that's what the 11 of David Owens is doing. 0 wins on the year for David Owens. He's been on the cusp of elimination.
Oh my gosh.
2 rounds, and now he's using the draft. He's using the front bumper. bumper. He's touching as they cross that start-finish line. 4 laps to go.
5.
And David Owens, and 5 to go. Owens and Cook side by side. And look at Owens drift up the track, but he slows it down side by side. Look at this racing as Mata chooses Cook this time.
That was Cook's moment, but he got loose on exit. Owens entered too low and wasn't able to keep his speed, but Cook could not wrap the top the way he needed to. Nonetheless, he did clear Owens a little bit, but Owens is going to have more for him. We're going to come here to 4 to go, and I can guarantee you right now, Mean Gene, that David Owens is not done with Cook yet. He's going to have at least one more shot at him. Cook needs to do everything he can. No more mistakes. Jax Duvall has slipped up in this group. Duvall is no longer part of this picture. If we stay green, this is a 2-man race for a championship.
And right now it looks like David Cook is going to be the guy. Oh, Mata behind him. Mata touched him once earlier. It wasn't in exactly the no-no spot, but it got awful close. David Owens is going to use that momentum to bring it in tight. You could see Bolander and Case of Beer back off of Owens just a little bit. They don't want to be the person that ruins
Oh my gosh! He touches Cook! He touches Cook!
By Mata.
Cook is around into Mata! Oh my gosh!
Mata is out. Bolander out. Cook makes it through with some slight contact. Cook makes it through. David Owens made it through clean. That's a caution. We're going to have a green-white checker for our championship.
I am at a loss for words. I thought David Cook's championship, I mean, it flashed before our eyes, Mean Gene, but it's not over yet. Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
Go to the interior. Go to the in-car view of Cook and see what's happening with his wheel. Is he still straight?
Oh, good call. Let's do that. Let's ride on board with him and then see the immediate aftermath. Good call. Here we are on board with Cook into 3 and 4 where it all went down. I think he's going to get, a little bit deep in the corner. Oh, man, it was right on entry. Look at him work that thing. Round he goes. That car is healthy.
What a drive. What a drive.
Unbelievable. Honestly, with how little he could see especially. Unbelievable. And that was, without a doubt, the most dramatic moment of our season, and a season that's been filled with unforgivable moments. This right here.
We saw Mata touch him twice earlier, and this was the 3rd time's the charm.
Yeah, and Mata came up. The far chase, in my opinion, usually is the end-all, be-all of how to analyze a wreck. And look at Mata. He is not driving a straight line, and Cook is. I mean, nothing malicious, obviously.
That's a racing incident.
Yeah.
That's a racing incident.
And Mata backing up the best he can to give Cook every chance he has to save it.
And look at Owens. Look how close Owens is to this stuff.
I mean, if you're David Owens, you see a championship right in front of you. You're praying the 71 gathers it up. There's no wreck, and you drive away in the sunset, right? But that's not what happens. Up the track goes Mata, and the 8 of Bolander as well, just absolutely
And here's
destroyed.
the contact I'm wondering about. Oh, good job. Case of Beer slowed it down enough.
A league, if I'm going to criticize one thing about MRL, it's a league that's not known for checking up under yellow, and what a phenomenal job everyone involved did here. As let's take our hats off to the 6 of Case of Beer. This is how you check up for a wreck in front of you. Caution's out at that point. Hit the brakes. That's no damage to either car. Awesome job. But man, here we go, Mean Gene. Here we go. It's going to be, like you said, a green-white checkered to decide who gets to be the 2024 Cup Series MRL champion.
Hey, and you talk about strategy. Jax Duvall just came in for a 14-second pit stop. Going to start in 12th.
Why not? 14 spots.
And so did Buddy Sully as well came in. He's in 13th, right behind Duvall. So 2 guys going the long run. They know they can't cut through this traffic, right? So you might as well take a shot.
A lot easier to cut through traffic when you have 30-lap older tires than the rest of the field. It might seem crazy, but with as wide as this track is, and not to mention that we have 3 possible green-white checkers, so if we can't get to the white flag on the first try, we're going to rack it back up again. You can get 13, 14 spots. Nothing to note there is Duvall did leapfrog Buddy Sully in that pit stop as well, so that's big for Duvall to hopefully not have to worry about Sully as he tries to make his way through the field, but do not by any means count out the 84 and the 21. You guys will see very quickly. I can almost promise you by the time once we get to lap 2, they'll be in the top 5.
Right now, check this out. Iverson's in the lead, and he's on the inside. Guy's been driving his heart out today. Owens on the outside, second row. They're safe. Or the outside in that second position of the first row. Look at row 2. Jack Sanders. That 25 car has gotten tight, and it's trucked up the track both. If I'm David Cook, That is something you got to keep an eye on. If you can't get a clean restart and get ahead of Jack Sanders by a full car length, I hit the brakes and cut down. I don't want to be on the outside of a loose, tight car, especially when you're looking at this green, white checkered. It might hurt you, but being wrecked is going to hurt you worse.
Really good point. I totally agree. I totally agree. It's
Sanders' car is on slicks.
It essentially is, and you're right. Sanders is an exceptional driver, but he has been someone that we talked about him during that last run. He was having a hard time hugging the bottom, a hard time keeping that thing in a straight line. It's not easy. But oh man, and watch out, Mean Gene. Also, watch for the tire spin here. These guys are gonna want everything. These are ancient tires, an old racetrack. It's 110 degrees on that surface, probably higher now. Here we go. Here we go. Let's crown a champion.
Tony Iverson, he is your control car. We're doing the green, white checker. Let's keep an eye. Owens on the outside. Good jump, and they're spinning in the back, T-boning already. That's probably going to be an immediate caution.
Yep, it is. It is. Boo.
And you know who loves that? Duval.
Yeah.
And Buddy Sully.
What happened here? Come on, boys. Well, I'm not even going to analyze that one, Mean Gene. We're moving on. Well,
I think
that's one of them.
If you're a fan of pro wrestling, it would probably be that chant you hear periodically. You suck, you suck, you suck.
Sometimes in pro wrestling, when something is really good, they go, this is awesome. And when it's not, they go, this is awful. Kind of like that one too, huh?
Yeah, I think that's the one we just heard.
Yeah, and we're just being mean to you guys. But, yeah, so, like we said, we get 3 chances at that. Believe it or not, that was one. So, Duval did get, even in that, wow, oh my gosh, Mean Gene, in that short amount of time, Duval got to 9th.
I tell you, I didn't know there were sharks in the swamp.
There are.
But Florida man is sneaking up. I told you, the goldfish is not the right fish on the side of his car. It should be a shark.
I agree. One more thing I want to bring up here real quick too, Mean Gene. So, you know, we've talked about this as well. We've had, I believe on Owens' 37-lap run, this will be the second or third caution, I believe, on that run. If we get one more of these, fuel could become a discussion.
Well, I mean, he is in a Ford, and those Fords have been known to run a long, long time.
Yeah, those things are fat. You're right. All right, Mean Gene, I will BRB too for another IPA-sponsored check, because I'm afraid I might just do it in my pants with all this intensity once the actual racing happens.
I got a spare one. I got a spare beer here too, just in case.
Smart. All right, I'll BRB.
All right, so that was our first green, white checkered attempt. We get 3 total, so we got 2 more on the books. Hopefully, we'll just need 1. They just need to make it around the track one time, make it to that white flag, and then that next flag would end it. But we'll see how it's going to be. Front row, Tony Iverson and David Owens. Owens, 0 wins on the season, but he is one of our Final 4 championship drivers. David Owens winning the championship at Michigan Thursday night for our truck series. He would love to go 2 for 3 in our big series. That's right. David Owens in that 11 Nas Ford trying to make the big play. Second row, Jack Sanders, David Cook. David Cook, he has led the most laps today, but so far this restart has shuffled him backwards. He had that harrowing incident with Michael Mata. Amazing bit of driving for David Cook to keep it on the track and still be in a position to strike and take this championship. Other drivers of note got to be Buddy Sully and Jax Duval. Those are your other championship drivers. Farther back, they're on fresher tires, but being back in 13th and 14th place, going to be difficult for Sully and Duval to cut through the field in just 2 laps. So
I was wrong about that. They were not 9th and 8th.
They were up there on my screen as well. They were showing up at the top, but
must have not been like sorted out after the yellow or whatever it was. But yeah, that is not going to be easy. And
no,
Buddy
so
got Jax. Buddy leapfrog Jax there as well.
Pretty wild. Buddy with the pole, but yet he's back there. Yeah, I can see them switching spots.
Yeah, really good point. Buddy really, like, with the pole, so clearly great speed, and we know he has it at all tracks, but kind of lost control of it early and never really able to regain it. It seems like every championship race in this format, there's always one guy crawling just to be part of the conversation, and today that's been Buddy Sully.
Yeah. Yeah, the tires could have been part of it. Buddy brought up early when we interviewed him that he was concerned about tires. He was going to keep an eye on tires. So clearly that was something giving him trouble, a point of contention for him in his practices, and perhaps that is what struck him down today. But it's not over. He's got possibly two green-white checkers to figure this thing out. But once we get this restart going, if they can make it to that white flag, next flag will end the race, and we will crown a champion here. Right now, David Owens, he seems to be the guy in position, but directly behind him, David Cook. And let's keep in mind, we did see Owens use that bumper a little bit to get by Cook and then tap him on the inside a second time. So if Cook was wondering if it's okay to touch the no-no spot, David Owens has already given consent.
Yeah, I mean, also that last restart, Cook was right there. That was the restart for Cook. That's what he needed. Can he do it again?
Let's see this restart right here. Pace car is off. Inside lane, Tony Iverson. He is your control car. Great start. He's going to bring Jack Sanders with him.
Look at the
That's
71.
going to give that opening. If I'm Cook, I dump down immediately, but he
right
doesn't.
Here. Do it here.
Owens on the outside with Jack Sanders. That's the danger zone. Kenny Loggins singing at the top of his lungs. David Cook getting around Sanders as well. Going to go with Owens. Owens a little bit loose, but he keeps it going straight and narrow.
Owens is round and into Cook. And there's the yellow. There's the yellow. Jack's the ball. Where's the ball? There he is. There he is. Look at the ball.
I am at a loss for words.
I am
Florida
too.
Man.
Uh-huh.
Florida Man is on 5th right now. He's being shown in 5th place. Buddy Sully in 12th. Let's see where Cook and
5th and
Owens
7th.
end up after that wreck. I think Owens is done. Owens is
Yep.
going to have to do a quick repair, and he's at the back. But this is it. This will be the last green-white checker. Go back to that replay and see what happened. Owens just got loose, wiggled, and Cook went right into the back of him. I think Cook got through that pretty clean. He might have some front-end damage, though.
Front end damage is the worst damage, Mean Gene, but I agree. I think he's obviously way cleaner than Owens is. Owens is loose. He is loose out of 2. That car, look at how the front wheels are facing the other direction. He's doing what he can to save it. I'm assuming it's going to be an overcorrection to the outside wall.
This is where he loses all that speed right here.
And I'm assuming here comes the overcorrect. No. So far, so good. It's still gone, and here comes the overcorrect. I mean, not even an overcorrect really at that point, but nonetheless, trying to get a better view for us on that hit. I want to get a better view of that one, Mean Gene. I want to see how bad that was.
Yeah, and you could see Cook take that damage in the front. In real life, you never want to take it in the rear, but here in NASCAR, you just don't want to take it in the front. So really bad series of events there for both of our championship drivers. Owens, 31 laps, 30 laps on those tires. Or 37 actually, right there. I had 37 laps on those things, so it was intense. And that's a hard hit right there. Cookie trying to slow it down.
Look at the fender of Owens, the one that closest to us. That toy link is likely broken up, and for good measure, one more time.
Yeah, and then Jose Medina comes
back into Cook though. And look at Cook's hood. That first hit wasn't that bad, Mean Gene. That is so frustrating.
Look at the right side.
Watch here though. So here's that first hit. He actually comes out scot-free, and then it's the second one.
Yeah.
So
and you can see the right side of Cook.
Oh no, I'm wrong. That thing is not in great shape.
Watch it. It gets worse on this right here.
Well, hey, Steve Lewis. That's the Emerald checking up that I know, or lack of.
And then this is the one.
T-bone C.
Bam. And watch that right hood pop right here. Boom.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, iRacing gods. Wow.
Brutal.
Unbelievable. I'm sure there'll be words between those two drivers, but that's just racing. That really is just racing. But, I mean, Jack Staval and Buddy Sully, just like that. And what's so crazy about that, too, Mean Gene, is usually when you're the guy who puts yourself in 13th and 14th, you're worried about what they just had to experience, right? Like, you're with the squirrels. You're with all the craziness. But nope, they avoided it.
Well, we saw it was, it's funny. I called every name as a danger person except for Owens, and that is the person that ended up losing it there. And you could hear Owens on the radio already telling Cook, I am sorry. Owens, even though he didn't do anything malicious, he's just trying to win, still ready to accept responsibility for altering the course of this race. So coming around that start-finish line, the lights will go off of the pace car. This will be their last time around before they hit that start-finish for our final green-white checker. Right now, Tony Iverson being shown in the lead, and Kevin Brower is going to be up there with him.
Good for Kevin.
No, wait, is that Jack Sanders? No, I think that's Jack Sanders.
That's good. Brower in second place. Oh, yeah, C. Sanders.
I see KB in second, but you got Jack Sanders being shown on the outside, so he'll be side
What
by
the
side.
heck? Oh, wait.
That's just where they came around.
Okay. Well, yeah, these guys just cannot seem to stay in order under caution, can they?
They're trying to fool us.
They really are.
Playing games.
But
playing games.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that David Owens was guilty of there was going for it. It doesn't always work out. Owens is a class act. He didn't win Thursday by controversial means or anything like that, but it wasn't without its moments, and Owens was the first to hit me up and talk about it and take ownership of his role of everything. So not surprising to hear Owens light up the radio, being the first to take ownership of that. But in terms of if you want to say that Owens did anything wrong, if you think racing for a championship is doing something wrong, then I mean that's your thing. Owens put it all on the line.
If that's wrong, I don't want to be right.
Exactly. But now Jack's the ball, man. He's got to keep it clean because look who's right behind him.
Yes, sir. And they both have the freshest tires
all
out there
eyes
on the track, pretty much.
All eyes on 84 and 21. And now, guys, any flag ends the race. If we get that same restart nonsense, that ends the race. Anything.
Here we go. 13 is your control car. On the inside, keeping an eye on Iverson. Jack Sanders on the outside. You got Kevin Brower and Bobby Dodson behind them. Jax Duvall, third car on the inside row. Great start by Iverson. He's going to take it up high. Look at Duvall. He brings it up high for a moment, slams it back down in front of Buddy Sully, and that's what we're keeping an eye on, fifth and fourth. Jax Duvall now with a good run. He goes underneath Bobby. He goes underneath Jack Sanders. He's going to bring Buddy Sully with him. Sully
contact behind. He's got to go now. 3 wide. Buddy Sully's got to go now.
Sully makes the move. He's clear. Look at the move by Duvall, trying to take it high, uses the ARCA brake.
Duvall going to try to use his momentum, but he can't even afford a caution, and we might get it. And we might get the caution, and we probably will. Will we see it? We're going to stay green. We're going to stay green. 1 to go.
This is it.
So all he has to do is get through this, as he is actually now in the lead. He makes quick work of Iverson.
Buddy Sully right now with the lead, but he's got Jax Duvall right on him. Duvall using that momentum. Duvall going down, coming out of turn 2. It's side-by-side racing. This is for the championship, Zach. They are side-by-side, but the momentum of Sully on the outside, if he can manage to hold that line with these faster tires, Buddy Sully will be crowned your champion. Duvall's got to bump him, though. Be
Sully's
the villain.
loose.
Spin your mustache.
Sully's going to have to run. Sully has to run. They are side-by-side. It's going to be a photo finish for the championship. Buddy Sully's the champion!
Duvall, you needed to whack him in turn 3.
Buddy Sully's the champion!
Whipley Snidelash did not get it done. Jax Duvall choosing to race fair, and that's going to put Buddy Sully up on the top. Buddy Sully with the win. Buddy Sully with the championship. Buddy Sully with the big year. Driver of the year, the 21 car of Buddy Sully. Wow, Zach.
Congratulations.
Racing at the end.
Oh my God, that was awesome. Hats off. Before we talk about Buddy Sully, hats off to Jax. That was how you race for a championship. I know me and Gene, he should have gotten, but he shouldn't have. That he wouldn't have slept well at night. Like you don't want to win one that way. That was the right way to win or lose a championship. Buddy Sully is the MRL Cup Series champion, and man, this dude deserves it. He never gave up today, and he drove so clean. He also could have sent Jax all the way down the track on the backstretch there, and he didn't do it, and now he gets to know that he did it the right way. Oh my God, I'm shaking. Light it up, Buddy Sully. Celebrate your moment, man. You're an MRL champion. What a moment for the 21, and it couldn't, I mean, you know this, Mean Gene, could have happened to a better guy.
Yeah, Buddy Sully, really a class act. Also part of our crew here that helps us with all of our broadcasts. Buddy, really amazing to see the year that this guy put together. He just came on like a rocket at the end of the year to make it into the championship. Into the chase, playoff championship, and then all of a sudden just winning his way here. Hell of a run, because every round that guy was on the bottom, and yet he managed to find his way back up to the top, made it into the Final Four, and here he is with the dub over Jax Duvall. Also, though, you got to give a shout out to the other drivers in this as well. David Cook, all year long, guy is just on top of the boards. A little bit of an unfortunate incident that he had with David Owens, took out the two Davids, and then that side by side. I love seeing the win get that championship, Zach, and that's what we saw here today.
Yeah, like you said, no Ryan Blaney championships. We got ourselves a Kyle Larson champion, right? Someone who won someone who won the race and won the championship. And that if I could describe that race in one word, Mean Gene, that was a movie. That was a movie. Like, the beginning part was just, oh, this is David Cook, this is David Owens' championship to win, and then we got the late in the movie twist. Oh no, it's actually Duvall and Sully, and then that was so unpredictable until legitimately, without the slightest bit of exaggeration, the last centimeter until the start-finish line. I am like legit almost choked up talking about that. To end a season like that with a finish like that doesn't even feel real.
No, that is just insane. That is just insane that we just saw. Let's talk to our final four drivers. Who do you want to talk to first? I think you got both the Davids. If you want to grab one of them.
Let's get the Davids. Let's give Jax a second to collect himself. David Owens, we got you here, man.
Oh, he's silent.
He is.
I see him. He's in the room. He's looking at the wall.
David Cook, we got you. David Cook.
Hello.
All right, David Cook. Man, oh my gosh, you were my pick to get it done today, and it looked like until about 5, maybe 10 to go that was going to be the case. Take me through your day today and how you're feeling right now, and nonetheless, amazing season.
Feeling pretty good. It was a good season. Tried to do my best there at the end. Just I don't know. Michael Mata's been just running into me race after race. Nothing gets done, and once again he cost me there. My tires were completely shot, and it's okay though. That's racing, and everybody else did great. Awesome racing. It was hardcore, that's for sure. And I'm sure we put on a show for everybody watching. So good day.
Yeah, I mean, oh my God, Cook, saying you put on a show would be probably the biggest understatement ever. Like, it was unbelievable, especially that battle. Take me through that battle with you, Iverson, and I guess you can include Mata in that too, where it was every lap. It reminded me, I'm not sure if you have been watching racing or been watching this, but like back in the day, I think it was like Cart went to this track and it was Michael Andretti and Juan Pablo Montoya battling like that, and it felt like that. What was that like for you?
Yeah, it was pretty much just like that, I think, man. It was absolutely wild. It was just good racing. I wish I had it ended like that. I think just a couple of guys, they were getting ready for the end of the race, and things happened. But unbelievable racing, and the back and forth was incredible too. Just a lot of fun, just right up until the end there.
Yeah, I mean, this format is this format. I'm not gonna dwell on it too much. I mean, as you know, I'm one of the Thursday guys and runs the same format, and it really it's tough when you have a season like you did and it comes down to one race. But man, I just said the race was like a movie, and you were the main character the whole time. So, and you're the main character the whole season. So great job. We're gonna have you back full time next season, and stay part time on Thursdays, please.
Appreciate it, guys. Yeah, I'd like to come back. We'll see. I'm feeling pretty bummed out after tonight. Just some drivers and racing, it's just a little too much for me. These races can end a lot better for people, and it's okay though. I think I'm ready to start doing some road racing again. So it was good racing with these guys, but that was enough for me. Tired of getting run into.
Well, it's the last race of the season. I might as well say it. That's been something I've been pushing for a while, man. I know what you mean. This is a really, really, really clean league with a bunch of great drivers, but that doesn't mean that penalties shouldn't exist. And if there's one thing that can make this league a little bit better, it would be that. In my opinion. And I think a lot of people are different about that, and I think it's a struggle that you deal with when you have a league like MRL that was built off a group of friends, but then expands into what it has today, with incredible drivers like yourself. I want to have you back here next year, Cook, and I can tell you that is something that's being discussed, and I am on that side of the fence as well. But amazing season, dude, amazing season, and thank you so much for showing up every week like you did and putting on a show, and you deserve all the credit in the world. And hey, 4 trophies doesn't hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks to my sponsor, Simrat Market. Been making my car look good all season long. My family supports me through all this stuff. My lady, my little dog Enzo. Once again, it was fun running in the league, guys. I had tons of fun with everybody, and I just had too many wins taken from me with black flags. I'm good now. So congratulations, buddy Sally. I am so glad you won it, my man. So glad to see that. So the right guy won tonight.
Thank you so much, David.
See you.
Well, that's unfortunate. Hopefully, an off season will give him a chance to recharge his batteries and come back and make it happen. You know, we did document the incidents that he had with that driver that he mentioned. There was some contact there, absolutely, and third time was the charm that finally did send him for a spin. But let's go ahead and move forward to our next championship driver, and that's going to be David Owens. David, are you in there, buddy?
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you what, David, there was a moment that I thought this thing was inches away from your grasp. Take me through that wiggle there at the end.
It snapped on me, just pushing, trying to get there, trying to make sure I had Cook behind me, and it just these cars. It's once you break that threshold of it just being too far gone, trying to save it's sometimes impossible. And I tried my hardest, so do want to apologize for Cook. It wasn't intentional or anything like that. It just it got away from me.
Talk about your tires, though. I mean, you were what, about 37 laps in on those tires?
Same as I think it was same as Cook. I think we were about 26 or 27, I think.
Okay, yeah, we noticed that because you came in and got a little splash also, which threw off my telemetry. I couldn't tell exactly, but I knew you came in about the same time as him. David, so close. We really thought this was your year. So just a few laps to go, and I thought for sure, especially with the experience that you had just had in the Truck Series on Thursday, that was going to kind of power you through there. Any final thoughts you want to have on this final race of the year?
I tried. It was yeah, that long green flag run we had at the end, battling there with Tony, Mata, Cook, and whoever else was up there. I think that's side by side racing. I think it was me and Cook were throwing crossovers every lap, every turn it looked like, and I had a blast. I do believe if Mata didn't get into Cook there, I think it would have stayed green the rest of the way, and it would have been down to me and Cook right there. So it is what it is. It's part of racing. So, but shout out to all the guys that put on this league week in and week out that show up to race with us. So hopefully we can carry this momentum into the off season and get everybody back. Hopefully Cook does show up. Give him some time to cool off, and great competition there with him. And shout out to you guys putting on this broadcast with us.
Hey man, it is a joy to watch you guys put on this show week in and week out. Like Zach said, it looked like a movie, especially there at the end. We think we're watching one show with you and Cook battling, and Tony Iverson was part of that as well. And then all of a sudden the incident occurs, the things switch, and then we see Buddy and Jax Duvall suddenly fighting for that championship at the end. David, anybody you want to give a shout out to before I let you go?
Just again, everybody that helps put this league on week in and week out that show up. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have this league. So shout out to everybody.
Amen. 20 guys showed up this week, and the thing's only going to get better. And thank you so much. That is David Owens, driver of that number 11 Knots Ford. So close this year, but we will see him again next year as he makes another run. One championship, though, under his belt for the 2024-2025 season. Can't be sad about that. And who we got next?
Let's talk to Jax Duvall. Oh man, Jax, we got you.
What's up?
Man, Jax, we've been talking for weeks now. Both of us racing for championships in different leagues, and what do you know? Both of us have nearly identical situations to end our season. Oh my gosh! First of all, you'll hear in the broadcast, but I want to give all the credit in the world to you for driving.
Why were you
clean.
so nice?
Yeah.
Why were you so nice?
You're gonna hear an angel and a devil on your shoulder here right now, Jax. Awesome. I think you drove awesome.
Turn two. It was yours.
So take
you
us
just had
through
to give him the wacky poop.
Take us through why you decided to have integrity today.
Well, I tell buddy Sally, felt bad. I thought I got into him on lap 78, but I went back and watched. It was netcode, so sorry, buddy. I know we were 4 wide. Tough racing there. Glad he came back, and I'm glad it came down to 2 of us. I respect Buddy. He races me clean every race. 1 and 2, yeah, definitely had him on the inside, but 3 and 4, I knew he was going to have that outside run. I didn't want to lean on him and wreck us both, and so I gave him more cushion than I probably should have, but I'm glad he got the win, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I was thinking the same thing when you guys entered. Like, obviously, Buddy squeezing you as he should, and you entering as high as you could. I mean, both of you guys just making textbook moves. I was like, oh my gosh, just please don't kill both of you. So I'm glad it ended the way it did. Take me through that late decision that ended up giving you the chance for the win. I'd say you and Buddy both, that 4 tires, putting yourself a little bit further back in the field. It looked like it was 13th, 14th. How'd you feel going into that first restart? We ended up using all 3 of them, but were you feeling like, even if we get one of these things, I can get those 14 spots in 2 laps, or did you feel like you needed all those restarts?
I definitely needed all the restarts to. I think we started 12th or something on the first one.
Yeah, you did.
So
Mm-hmm.
only gained a few spots on that first one, but the second one was I felt it was a waste. I don't know what happened there. Just kicking up, braking, going. I don't know.
Oh, you're mixing them up. That was the first one. The one where it like went yellow immediately. That was the first one.
Yeah.
Second one. Wait, no, I'm mixing it up. I'm bad. My bad. You're right. The second one was a waste, and then yeah, you kind of just had to do it from there.
And yeah, I was going to be pedal to the metal in that last restart. I saw them wreck, and hopefully a caution didn't come. I don't know how a caution didn't come.
No,
out.
me either. I had no idea how it didn't.
But I'm glad we got the race out to the end, and nah, I feel good. I mean, I saved a set of tires for the end of the race. That was the goal, and then I guess Buddy had the same idea.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that as well. First thing I said was like the cautions that we're racing for the championship here. It felt like something that like NASCAR, like in real life, would do in the moment, but no one here has the ability to do that. So that blew my mind. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, I think if the yellow had come out like we normally would have seen, Buddy would have been our champion. Did that play into your mind at all as we did race it out? Like, man, it felt like you should have, but now I had this chance at it, or were you just like, I'm gonna try it and do what it takes?
Yeah, I mean, the yellow came. It's tough to say if a yellow came out. Nobody wants it to end that way.
No, you're so right.
You want to race it. So I'm very lucky that it didn't. So is Buddy. Just glad we got to finish the race.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, how else could that championship have been better? So awesome. And dude, it was awesome to see you, Jax, put the whooping on the field on Thursday at this track. So we had high hopes, and you didn't let us down. You clearly have something figured out here, and man, I know exactly how close, and I know exactly what that feels like, but nothing to be ashamed of from this season from you. Amazing job. Man, can't wait to see you again next year. We know you'll be back. Anyone you want to give a shout out
to? To my Goldfish family, East Coast Alliance, thank you guys for your help. And we'll be back next year ready to win more.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Jax.
Ladies and gentlemen, you love him, and he gave it to you tonight. Your champion, the winner of Michigan International Speedway, your Season 3 2024 MRL Monday Night Mayhem champion, the 21 driver, Buddy Sully. Congratulations, Buddy.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Tell you what, buddy, that is a hell of a show you put on for us out there. How are you feeling, my friend?
I'm feeling good now. With about 10 laps to go, I was feeling a little nervous.
Oh, that thing was wide open. You and Jax both chose to come in, take those tires. I mean, at that point, did you just know at that stage of the race, you had to do something different? Was that just a call you knew you were going to do later, or was that just off the cuff, spur of the moment choice?
So with the way that the race started, I was actually going for a fuel run, so I fell back really far early in the race, and it was just saving fuel because I thought that if we could get green flag from the first caution, that I would be perfectly fine after the green flag pit stops or whatever. And then that plan was working perfect. Joe Volpus, we were both on the same strategy, but because of stretching that, it gave me the extra set of tires at the end, and then the caution messed up the fuel strategy play, so then it was just see what can happen and go from there. And just luckily I had that extra set at the end.
Yeah, the way y'all two cut through traffic, and then that series of events, watching Iverson battling those guys, wearing them out, all the drivers a little bit fatigued And then we did see that incident at the end. You and Jax Duvall side by side the last lap there, lap and a half. Any anxiety on your part, or did you know he's going to play it above board?
I wasn't nervous. I knew we were both going to try to get the other uncomfortable, so if he took the inside, I had all intention of squeezing him down, just like I'm sure that he had all intention of trying to squeeze me up a little bit on entry. So I can say for the majority of that last lap, I was not looking out of the front of the car, but the left of the car, just to make sure that he wasn't pushing up or I wasn't squeezing down so far to contact him.
Well, I got to say, one of the cleaner runs I've seen on a championship lap. Both of you guys, and the interview, Jack's utmost respect for you, buddy. Wanted to play that thing clean, and with those fresher tires, as you mentioned, that thing just kind of stuck right to the track, didn't it?
Oh yeah, and the only thing that I didn't want to take us both out. So I definitely didn't want to play too cautious, because you don't just want to give someone the win over you, but you don't want to be so aggressive that you run it for both of you guys.
Are you sure? Because David Owens wouldn't have minded.
Right. It was fun to race it out. I can say that. It was fun. That last lap was the most fun I've had in a while. So
it was insane. If you get a chance to go back and watch it, just to see how this thing evolved, Jack Sanders being up into that lead group as well, running it at a slightly different pace. Tony Iverson running at his own pace. I would say, what do you think, Zach? The last 10, 15 laps of that thing were just a madhouse.
Maybe even more than that. It was easily the best driving I probably ever seen in iRacing, and it was beyond unpredictable.
Yeah, and tires, like you said, buddy. I think those tires, and in fact, Zach, I think you called that thing, calling that the championship move.
Yeah, I love that, buddy. That's what I figured with your, I guess, lack of speed in the beginning. I was like, he must have a set that no one else has, and wow, did that benefit you?
Oh yeah, I really wish, like, it was fun racing it out that way, but it would have. I'm almost interested to see what would have happened on the fuel mileage strategy if we wouldn't have had all the cautions there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm a fan of both. I'm a fan of racing flat out, but I'm also a fan to see how the fuel mileage works out, because I know I was a half lap to the good if it went green from that green flag pit stop.
That's impressive.
Either way you look at it, either way you look at it, you had to be happy with it. You put down the pole also, so that let us know that you had the short run speed, and then to watch you sit there and manipulate the car to give yourself that extra speed, really good. Combine that with a little bit of class by Jax Duvall. I tried to paint him as a villain, but he just wouldn't wear the hat for me.
Right. Yeah, I've always gotten along with Jax. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy overall. I'm just trying to make a narrative.
He tries his best. Yeah, he tries his best to convince you otherwise, but he's a nice guy.
I do got to say I have to thank that last caution, or not the last caution, but the caution that set up the green white checkered, because the net code that Jax was talking about, it damaged I had damage to my wheel, so I had to use the fast repair on that very first caution that set up the first green white checkered. And then without all the other green white checkers, I don't know if we would have had the time to get back up there.
Ooh, that is an interesting little tidbit right there, isn't it?
Yeah, that is. Well, either way, buddy.
Without that caution, I would have, whenever the whole pack in front was, I don't know, I think there was 3 or 4 seconds ahead of me. And then there was a pack behind me, and I was kind of stuck there in the middle. But the caution was the only thing that saved it.
Yeah, we were worried. We were worried about you there.
A little bit.
I was worried about myself.
There's a little bit of chant.
Yeah, there was. But either way, dude, I am so freaking proud of you, buddy, and I'm so happy for you, man. I can't even describe it.
All right, buddy, I got a message for you right here. We got a phone call for you. If you want to take time
It's going to be our president calling now.
Yep. Amazing year, an amazing finish. Big win, a huge win for us all.
There it is, right there.
Us all. The whole country, apparently.
All right.
You're bringing us back together, buddy. Buddy, anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you go, pal?
I want to shout out Tony and David Owens and those guys for. It's been fun kind of teaming up with them at the last part of the season and stuff, and trying to get their take on strategy and all that stuff. It's unfortunate that the stuff happened to Tony the way that it did, because I think he would have also made it to the top 4. Then my wife and kiddos and stuff for having patience with me doing this. And then the MRL guys for putting on the league, and you guys in the broadcast booth.
Was it worth all the time off work?
It was. I do not regret it.
As long as Santa Claus comes on time, I think you're going to be in the green at the household.
Right.
I think that's all.
Yeah, it's all good.
Well, buddy, we are definitely blessed to have seen you do this run, put this together, this championship run. You're going to have to do God's work for us, though, and send some messages to David Cook, get him back next year so we can see another David, Buddy, Tony, and Jax Duvall showdown next year. And there's going to be some other names in there, too. You're not free. I think we're going to see the M&M boys. I think you're going to see Austin and Mason come back strong. I think a lot of people were a little sad, but MC Motorsports, Michael Mata, Bobby Dodson, Jonathan Casabier. There's a lot of speed in this league, buddy. So looking forward to seeing what you can do next year with this game.
Oh, yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. I'll talk to Cook. I talked to him a little bit on the side week in and week out about the way the races went. So I'll see if I can keep him in here.
Yeah, definitely want to keep him in and see what we can do about growing this league forward. Austin Marrow, Buddy Sully, our champion. I'm looking at the names up in here.
I am too.
Buddy Sully is our champion again. Congratulations. And I love to see you take the win and that lock you in for that championship as well. A straight on Joey Logano championship, not a Ryan Blaney championship.
Kyle Larson.
Sorry. A Kyle Larson. That's right. For you Chevy guys. We call it a Kyle Larson. Congrats, buddy. Hell of a job, man. Go celebrate, buddy. You earned it.
Hell yeah, buddy, man.
Yeah.
So proud of you.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Wow. What a freaking race, Zach.
Oh,
what
man.
a finish for this season.
I mean, like, it's almost like I guess we should have maybe expected it with how good this whole season has been, but for it to come down to a photo finish is just unreal, Mean Gene. I can't even begin to describe what that's like. That's never happened in real life NASCAR. It's never came down to a photo finish in the Cup Series for the championship, and for that to happen here after the incredible season we've already gotten, it just, oh my gosh, I cannot believe it. And you heard the same theme kind of coming from everyone, all our Champ 4 drivers. A very, very, very deserving driver.
Yeah, and what a sequence of events, too, because we got to see the other two guys racing for the lead with just 10 laps to go. We saw the two Davids up there, making light contact with each other, but keeping it straight until finally, those tires got a little bit loose. And as Owen said, that car just kind of came around on him, collecting David Cook as well. And then turn around, and what do we see? We see the other two championship drivers up there battling it out. There's a reason those guys were in the Final Four. And also a reason, Tony Iverson barely on the outside looking in, but he was right there for that win as well with 10 laps to go.
Yeah, especially when you say, like, there's a reason those guys were in the Final Four, like, pull up the... Oh, sorry. Oh, that's so mean. I had posters for everyone if they won the championship. I didn't mean to show that. Looking at Jax's
like the hats?
Yeah.
Is that like the hats and
so
shirts of the Super Bowl?
They're going to Africa.
Yeah, you can't send that to Africa, though.
Yeah. But if you look at Jax's stats here... Right. It's not the same level of dominance you see with someone like Cook, but what you do see is the average finish is similar across all of our top 4 here. And it's in the 7s somewhere. All of them. And that's so true. These guys know how to be there in the end, and they know how to get it done, and they know what a points race, but the benefit of that is when you only have to worry, there's a race of 20 people out here, but you're really only racing 3 guys, and that's what that's what Sully and Jax did such a good job of staying focused on throughout the race and making sure they were there when it mattered and giving themselves a chance at it and being there to have a chance at the championship. So well done. And I do want to hit this real quick, and this will be the last time we talk about this today, but David Cook, when I've been in the Final Four on Thursdays twice in a row now, and I lost last year in a way that was really upsetting. I'm not going to get any details about it, but really, really upsetting. And I felt like it was my last race in MRL ever, to the point where I didn't come back to begin the season this year in trucks. I was still kind of mulling with my decision. And fast forward, 4 months, commentating this series. I raced for another championship. Didn't get it done, but I have no sour grapes this year. I can't wait to get back next year and get it done. He'll be back, in my opinion. I don't think there's better leagues out there than this one. And not just that, right now you have this bad taste in your mouth. Like, I just want to get as far away from this race and this championship as I can. You give a few weeks, a few months for that feeling to go away, and that quickly turns into, I want to come back, and you're going to have that Tony Iverson mentality. I'm going to come back, and I'm going to show them. I'm going to embarrass them, and I'm going to show them how close it shouldn't have been. And I would not be surprised if we see that 71 doing that next year.
Yeah, I mean, the year that he had, especially being so dominant and showing that dominance in this race, you just know, because that caution, that caution came out, it tightened the field back up, and then all of a sudden he goes from having that 4.5 second lead to being right back in the soup. And then an aggressive Tony Iverson closes that field up, and then you're in a 9-man group. All of those guys looking for that win. And then that contact that he did have with the 16, 1, 2, and then the third time, the magic time, right in that no spot. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he's definitely disappointed. The championship was right in his grasp, but that could be said for all 4 of the drivers. This race, all 4 of them had that opportunity to take that win. But David Cook, I can absolutely see where it would be a bitter pill, considering the dominant season that the guy had. Just so many laps led, and then that looked like it was going to unfold for him today. We'd already read that book, and then all of a sudden, cautions and strategy later, and it turns out to be Buddy Sully and Jax Duvall fighting there at the end instead. But Cookie, come back, bud. Definitely going to make some phone calls, and you guys at home, go ahead and put it in there. Let him see the fan, the fan support to see that 71 come back, because hell of a driver, and he is always putting on a show for you guys. Unless you're tired of watching him win, then maybe you could do an anonymous account and be like, yeah, you should quit.
Yeah, right. But with Cook,
except for those people,
you're so right about that. With Cook, the championship race, and again, this format, it's a bizarre one, and a lot of people have opinions on it. I personally don't love the championship race format, but you cannot deny the drama it creates. And one thing that I think Cook will probably come full circle with and realization with is, when you control a championship race, it's so easy to feel like, man, I had that thing won. If X hadn't happened, I would have won. But then we just talked to Buddy Sully, and what did we hear from Buddy Sully, Mean Gene? Him talking about, I wish that run at the end had played through. I felt like I had more gas than the rest of them. So while Cook is hanging out in first place, second place with Iverson, feeling like he has the race under control, you have the 21 hanging out in 11th place, thinking, I have them right where I want them. I'm gonna win this championship. So it's so easy to feel like, I had that thing, I was under control, but did you even? You never know. And when these races, it's as precise as it gets when it comes to strategy. And it's I think he'll come to that realization that it's everyone, all those 4 guys probably felt like, with 10 to go, they had the same chance to win the championship that you did.
Yeah, and also you got to bring into mind super speedway mentality. Mm-hmm. Like, even though you're right in the mix of it, and you think you're about to win, a car can get in the draft, because the fastest car today, the 18th place finisher of Andrew Bolander, he had the best lap today. Mm-hmm. And you look at the other cars and how they cut through the traffic. All day long you watch Michael Mata run up in the front, and he easily could have taken that win, and so could have his MC teammates. Kay Sabir and Bobby Dodson also, just because of the mentality of it, of the super and the physics of the super speedway. All of that could have changed in an instant. But the tires start to wear out, and then all of a sudden the physics come into play, and we saw David Owens and David Cook get caught up in the physics of the tires are done, the car is done, and you're just pushing a little bit too hard. Still, hell of a day. A lot of bitter pills. Only one. There can be only one champion, and really, really good racing there at the end. Again, shout out to Jax, not putting on the Whipley Snidely mustache and hat and just taking out Buddy Sully in turn 1 and 2. Can't say I wouldn't have done that, but hey.
It would just
You
not
know,
be a
that's
very.
why-
We would not be having a very fun discussion if that had happened right now. Like, think about the
Oh, I
conversation
would
would be
be.
happening. You would be.
I would be. I would be.
It
You
would just
know,
be a
I'd
weird
crack open
way.
another one.
Well, yeah, I'd have to. Maybe not even a beer. We'd probably have to go higher in the percentage at that point. But
It'd be our first podcast.
oh, for sure. Oh my gosh, for sure.
We'd have to turn this into a podcast. All
Absolutely.
right. Well, speaking of, we got to wrap this thing up, ladies
do.
and gentlemen. We don't want to take up all of your night. Hell of an end to the season. And keep track of when we will be having season 2. Will be coming next year. We're going to make it through the new year. Or season 4 will be coming next year. We're going to make it through the new year, take a little break, and then we will be back racing. John Beverly has already released our schedule for next year's Monday Mayhem. So we're going to see more action. Reach out, MRL Racing. If you want to get on the track with us, we run trucks, we run Cup, we run Xfinity, we run Wheeling Modifieds. Sister League, Bonfire Race League has next gen cars, and also they run trucks as well. So plenty of opportunities to get on the track with these 2 leagues. Reach out, get on the track with us, run some practice races, run some recruiting races, and next thing you know, I'll be calling your name when you finish in the top 5. Maybe you could be the next David Cook. Maybe you could be the next Buddy Sully. Hey, Zach, final thoughts?
Man, this one's I'm gonna make this as quick as I can. I want to give the biggest thank you in the world to Kevin Kyle for letting me in to this broadcasting team. Now, yes, sir. I don't think I've said it till now, Mean Gene, because I didn't want anyone to know, but this first race of this season was my first time ever broadcasting, and I was as nervous as anyone ever could be, and I can't thank Kevin enough for having belief in me. Mean Gene, I cannot thank you enough for being the greatest mentor and partner anyone could ever ask for. I'm so
not
spoiled.
that old. Okay, maybe I am.
I'm just kidding. You're a lot better at this than I am, and I
Just the
couldn't have done this
hairline.
without you. I mean, yeah, that's not doing you any favors. I mean, good thing Kevin's not here too. I have the best hairline in our broadcast team. There's that, and Vulpus. But man, I'm so lucky to have you guys and be able to work with you guys. And the main thing I'm just thinking about is just the gratitude I have for you and Kevin and Joe and Sanders and everyone who makes this broadcasting team possible, and everyone who makes MRL possible. This league and this league specifically, this division of MRL, just puts on a show that is just beyond comprehension and how good it is, how dramatic it's been, the quality of driving, the clean racing. There's hurt feelings because this means so much to people, but trust me, guys, this racing, I've been to a million other leagues. This racing is so clean. I am so privileged to have gotten to have called this race, called this league, and been here all year. I've looked forward to this probably more than any iRace I get to do. I really can't describe how much fun I'm having right now, how much fun I had. And it's all because of having a partner like you, me, and Gene, having a team run by Kevin Kyle, and having a league like MRL. So I just cannot thank you guys enough. I'm almost like, I'm trying not to get choked up because I'm just a broadcaster, but man, I just, you guys, like, this is a dream of mine to be able to broadcast, and I can't thank everyone enough for giving me that. And it's just icing on the cake that it got to be for this league and this season. And thank you for everything. And I cannot wait for next year. You guys are stuck with me now.
All I got to say about that, right back at you, brother. It has been an absolute pleasure. The energy that you have brought to this thing is amazing, and the editing, everything you guys saw tonight. Zach did all of the production value. Yeah, Buddy Sully and Kevin Kyle definitely sharing all of their knowledge and their ability. But Zach, hell of a job of the stats, all of the graphics that you've been putting up. This thing just kicked up an entire another level once you wanted to become that producer, and it has been a pleasure for me as well to work with you and just get to be a part of this, and all the drivers and the officials for MRL, as we have just seen this thing explode. And I just cannot share enough my excitement going into season 4, as we're going to go into a recruiting season for a few weeks and try to steal some high profile drivers for some other leagues and kick this thing up another notch and watch our champions. I mean, because all those guys, all 12 of those fellas that were in that race there, those final 12 drivers could put dubs up.
Oh,
They're ready to race with anybody. And then other drivers as well that we hadn't even gotten to mention their names very much. Somebody like Jose Medina running up in the top 5 all night. got a little unfortunate with the wrecks at the end. Alex Hillman, fast week in, week out. Jack Sanders won the championship last year, and yet found himself on the outside looking in just because of the speed that people brought to the track week after week. So this thing is growing, and I just can't wait to see it. My final thought, though, is Buddy Sully. He brought that speed at the end. We talked about if he was going to win, it was going to be because he was just straight out faster than everybody else. And that's what we saw in those last 2 laps. He held that outside lane. He had that extra set of tires. And if he hadn't of, it would have been the Jax Duval show. Jax would have won on Strat, the way we had talked about. But Buddy, just with that straight up speed, pulls that dub, gets that championship, and loving to the prospect of watching next year as these teams form up after a strong season and see what we can come back with next year. Just hell of a run, Zach. Just so excited that you get to be a part of this thing, man.
Totally agree, man. Incredible stuff today. Incredible.
Yeah, I can't wait for next year. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been our pleasure. I am Mean Gene Money, Zach Panzarella as your producer. All of the people behind the scenes, Kevin Kyle, Joe Volpus, David Owens, John Beverly, league admins. Our pleasure. Come back next year. Can't wait to give you another amazing show. And as always, folks, bottoms up and hammer down.
We rise up.